much money did you contribute to the house? Give me a rough figure.
$1,200.
That's a bargain in anybody's universe.
And their breakup wasn't the end of it.
You left, and you left your daughter in his house. You got a free ride.
I did not get a free ride.
Free ride.
This is Judge Judy.
Jennifer Adams is suing her ex-boyfriend, Mike Owens, for an unpaid loan and property damage.
Order. All rise. It's case number 437 on the calendar, the matter of Adams versus Owens.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Ladies, have a seat, please.
Miss Adams, this is what your case is about generally. You and Mr. Owens were a couple. He had lived in one place, then he bought a house. When he bought the house, according to you, in order to show that he had some money in the bank, he said to you, I need for you to pay some of the expenses in the house so that I can keep this balanced, and I'll give that back to you. So you consider that a loan. You and your daughter were living in the house with Mr. Owens, is that right?
Part of the time. I kept my apartment until August of 2019.
I don't care whether you kept your apartment or not. That doesn't matter to me whether you kept your apartment or not. I said you were living in the house.
They're from September 10th on.
From September 10th until when?
September 10th. Are you talking about me living there?
You.
I stayed off and on with him. I went back to my apartment and I stayed with him, going back and forth.
How much back and forth?
A lot. We broke up several times.
I don't care whether you broke up. You can break up and get angry and then come back. I read your complaint. You said you broke up and you moved out.
Correct.
Okay,
So
when
we
you
bought the
broke
house
up
in
and you
April.
moved, listen to me. If you have your own apartment, then you don't have things there. Because one of the things you're suing for are things that were there. If you have your own apartment and you sleep over at the defendant's house, that's a different story. Let me read the first sentence, because maybe I'm mistaking this case for another one. Mike and I were together for over a year. While dating, Mike said he wanted to buy a house for both of us, and I would not be responsible for any rent. He told me I should get rid of my apartment. That's the way you started. Correct. That doesn't sound like I kept my apartment, he lived in his house, and I would go back and forth and back and forth. That sounds as if you were living there as a couple with your daughter. So let's not play with me. Okay?
Yes.
Unless you want to take back this complaint.
No.
And then I'll recall your case, and you can redo it consistent with the story that you're telling me now.
No, I stayed with him. She did not move in until the apartment was done. But like I said, there was some back and forth. But yes, I had
No,
stuff at
I don't
both
understand.
places.
Trying to do is confuse me, which is not easy to do, Miss Adams. Not easy to do. Because it seems to me, in this case, you want the best of both worlds. You have a daughter who's living with you, who was doing what?
Going to school and working.
Okay. And what was she doing with her money?
Paying her car payment and her insurance.
What was she doing to pay money for the house that she was living in?
In the apartment?
No, in his house. You left, and you left your daughter in his house.
Right.
That's what you said in here.
He said she did not have
No. Don't tell me what he said. I'm
Okay.
asking you a question.
She did not pay him any money.
So you left him and your daughter in his house. You left, went back, I assume, to your apartment. Is that right?
No, my apartment was gone by the time I left.
Oh, so you got rid of your apartment. So it couldn't have been a back and forth.
That's what I was
So
saying.
you went someplace
September
else.
10th.
You went someplace else, and you
Yes.
left your daughter, who wasn't paying any expenses in the house because she was going to college. I'm just getting my facts straight, so I understand what the situation is, Miss Adams.
So
You weren't paying him any money for the house when you were living there. You left. You left your daughter in the house, whether for a month or 2 months or 3 months. How many months were you there? Count on. Go, just show me.
Until the end of January.
From what month to the end of January?
Like 3 or 4.
So you were there for 3 or 4, well, you put up a lot of fingers. You were there for 3 or 4 months. You were there for 3 or 4 months after your mother left. These are not hard questions. These are very easy questions, and we're not talking about something that happened 20 years ago. We're talking about something that happened last year. How many months were you in the house with Mr. Owens after your mother picked up and left?
About a month and a half.
And how long were you there altogether with your mother?
Since September 10th.
With your fingers, show me. How many months were you
3
there?
or 4.
4 months altogether. Now, in the month and a half that you were there with Mr. Owens alone, that's what you say, you were there for a month and a half, did you pay any of the expenses for the house?
No.
Did you pay any expenses for the house? That's a yes or a no?
No.
How much money did you pay in expenses when you were living at Mr. Owens' house before you left for you and your daughter?
Over $3,000.
And how did you pay the $3,000?
Cash and bills.
Okay, so you gave him cash, and that had nothing to do with the money that you're suing him for.
No, that is the money I'm suing him for.
Oh, so let me understand this. You and your daughter lived in the house for 4.5 months, and the expenses that you paid was zero if what you're suing him for now. So what you paid were bills.
Well, in addition to the money he borrowed from my taxes, I paid a bunch of his bills, which I have.
I'd like to hear
Okay.
what bills you allege you paid for him and when.
I paid for bills when we were out of town, when he was working.
No,
No.
We're not sloughing over things. He was out of town working, and he put you on his bank account, correct?
Yes.
Who put money in that bank account?
He did.
So you didn't pay the bills. He paid the bills. You physically wrote.
I paid out of my account. That's what I'd like to show you.
You paid not out of a joint account.
Correct.
You paid out of your account. On what date did you pay money out of your account, and for what bill?
Okay, well, one big one is part of the house payment, $166.
On what date?
That was on 7/8.
Go ahead.
I have Idaho Power.
That was out of your personal account?
Yes.
Idaho Power.
$60.
60 on what date?
6/3.
In June. So they're June, July, August, September, October. What date did you move out of his house?
It was
what
like
month?
January
Of what year?
this year.
January of 2020?
Like I said,
Don't speak. So you paid a house payment and a power payment in August, September, October, November, December, and you moved out in January, right? So that you were there 7 months, or you were there 7 months.
I was giving him money before we lived together.
Just a second. That's not what I asked you.
Okay.
We're talking about the house.
April is when the house was purchased.
You know that if what you're telling me is that the entire extent of your contribution were a couple of bills that you paid out of your personal account, and the $3,000 that was used to purchase the house, and you paid, with the exception of this $166, a house payment out of your own account, we're done. You understand that, Miss Adams?
Yes,
You're
but that's not the
responsible. How
only
many
bills.
children did you have living in the house with you?
I had her son moved in.
Just a second. When did her son move in?
Probably around September. He moved in for about a month.
How old is he?
He's 19.
Did he contribute to the household?
No, and I have a statement here too for you.
I don't need a statement. Who else lived in the house other than her son for a month
After
and then
he
her
was
daughter?
gone, Jacqueline moved in.
Did you have any children of your own living in the house?
No, I haven't.
Cumulatively, from April when the house was purchased until January when her daughter moved out, can you give me a rough amount of money that she gave you?
Not to me any money at all. Everything was through debit cards that we used, and I do not receive any cash from her at all.
At the beginning, when you purchased the house, did you need to have any cash? Is that what she's talking about? She's talking about a particular amount of money. And she would now like me to say it was a loan that she gave you.
I got a loan from my sister for the house, right here.
I'm talking about money she gave you.
No.
A $2,700 payment?
No.
Show me the $2,700
Okay.
payment. I just want to see it.
Here is when my taxes came in. And then this page is marked when I gave him the $1,415 cash. And then on his account...
Just a second. Do you have any proof that you gave him $1,400 in cash?
I have him showing on his account that he deposited on the same day, $800 of it.
Do you remember that $1,400?
No, I do. When we purchased this house, there was two $800 deposited into the account, and Jennifer signed it and I signed it that it was not a loan.
You mean for the bank?
Yes, from the bank.
Okay. Miss Adams.
Yes.
In the 7 months that you and your children, one or both of them, lived in the house, how much money did you contribute to the house? Give me a rough figure.
Probably $1,200.
That's a bargain in anybody's universe. You and your 2 children lived in a house for 7 months, and it cost you $1,200. That's a bargain. I have no idea what you're wasting my time for.
Can I explain to you?
I'm just telling you, if you gave him $1,200 during the time you were living there and another $3,000, so let's say if I believe you that it's $4,200 over a period of 7 months for you and your 2 children to live in his house, what I'm telling you is, I don't know what you're doing here. I don't know what you're doing here.
He told me I did not have to pay a thing.
Okay. We're done with that part of your case. Absolutely finished. Finito.
So you won't look at all this?
No. You can take it and you can trash it.
What about the
You
destruction
can
of
take it and you
property? The destruction of property.
Well, when did you move out?
I moved out at the end of November, or the beginning of November 11th.
Just a second. Was any of your property, when you moved out the end of November, was any of your property prior to your moving out destroyed?
Yes. Well,
What? Just a second. Let's get it together. Prior to your moving out, because you don't write that in your complaint. Very, very careful here. You move out the end of November.
November 10th.
Prior to November 10th, was any of your property destroyed? That's either a yes or a no.
No, next day.
You moved out. He could take your property, throw it into a dumpster. He could have said, you're gone. If
So
you
he
want to
can
be gone, if
just-
you want to be gone and move your property, I mean, it's not that you moved out and said, I assume, that said, I'm going to be back and pick up my property little by little.
Yes, I did. And he was fine with that.
And did, just a second. So when you moved out, you said to him, I'm going to be back for my property.
Yes.
Little by little. And what did he say to you when you said, I'm leaving my daughter, I'll be back for my property little by little? What did he say to you? Did he say that was okay?
Yes. We have been friends up until this happened. Up until
what happened?
When I sued him.
Listen to me. I'm asking you a question. My question to you is a simple one. When you said, I'm leaving you, I'm going to be back and forth to get my property.
Right.
Did he say to you, that's fine?
Yes.
Is that what you said to
No.
her?
I have text messages.
I'd like to read them.
All right.
Just give me the ones that say, I'm coming back for my property and it's fine. And then you'll tell me what it was that he destroyed.
This just shows that we've been friends the whole
I don't
time.
care whether you've been friends
Okay.
from the umbilical cord.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He was a nice man. You were friends for a long time. You got a free ride. Free ride. Free ride.
No, you're not understanding
Free
my...
ride.
No.
Free ride.
Jennifer Adams says ex-boyfriend Mike Owens owes for a loan and property damage. Mike is countersuing for stolen money, lock-changing costs, and harassment.
Just give me the ones that say, I'm coming back for my property and it's fine. And then you'll tell me what it was that he destroyed. Okay. This has to do with couches.
Yes.
And this was on December 25th. So this is like a month after you moved
Oh, yeah,
out.
I had stuff there until January.
Who cares? I don't care if he had stuff there. You weren't there. You weren't paying rent. He can take your stuff and he can throw it out. Now, you gave him a whole list of stuff that you wanted him. I need my spice rack, coffee pot, TV upstairs, couch, motorcycle, plastic chairs out back, TV stand in the front room. See, you were living there.
Yeah, once we moved out of the
Just a
apartment.
second. You were living there with your kid. I'm not paying for it. Now, did you get your couches?
Yes.
Did you get? And what are you complaining that he broke?
Here's a picture of my mirror that was against the wall. He took everything out of the closet, which you can show. He broke the nightstand and he threw all the stuff in a corner and broke the mirror out. Plus, I have 4 shoes where I only have left shoes. I'm missing clothing, which I have pictures of his girlfriend wearing.
I don't care.
But the mirror was the big thing, and I have an estimate for it.
Okay. And when was it broken?
The day after, he
How do you
sent me
know
a
that?
text message.
Let me see the text message about the broken mirror. Yes.
And then I'll also hand you...
Just show me
That's from
where
my
he
daughter.
says he broke the mirror and how it got broken.
Oh, I guess it says he blew up and he's packing my stuff out. That's when he broke the mirror.
Just tell
And
me.
that's from my daughter when she showed up right after
Where's
the mirror
Mike?
got
Did
broke.
he break the mirror? Yeah. And helping me clean up, but we're okay. You sure you're okay? Do you want me to go down and stay at home? No, I'm sorry. I'm going to stay, all clean up this mess, and it's okay. Would you please show me where he says he broke the mirror?
I was mistaken.
Were you
It just says
there?
he blew up.
I came home to it.
Okay. You came home, but you didn't see how it broke.
Yes, and he told me he broke it and
Okay.
that he was sorry and that he just got agitated.
Okay. Well, you want to tell me how...
I threw him in a corner. The mirror was leaning up against the wall. It did fall over and break.
So it was an accident.
It was an accident. And then
Move
same
on.
thing with the nightstand.
Move on.
Do you want the picture?
No. Yeah, you don't seem to understand. He was a nice man. You were friends for a long time. You got a free ride. So did your son. So did your daughter.
I did not get a free ride.
Free ride. Free ride.
No, you're not understanding
Free
my...
ride.
No.
Free ride.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Sympathetic with you, but you're playing house with somebody. You're an idiot to put somebody on a joint bank account. She went and took out $1,254. Did you close the joint checking
I did.
account? Okay, this is your very good friend.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy.
Jennifer Adams says ex-boyfriend Mike Owens owes for a loan to pay for living expenses while he was buying a house.
Now, you lived with him at least from April until January of this year, and all told you paid $4,000 for you and your kid, who were living with him, who he took care of. And when you left him, and clearly it wasn't a happy time between the two of you, because according to you, he was angry that you just left. Accident.
I don't believe that.
But I don't care what you believe. Actually, madam, I don't know what you're doing here.
He borrowed money, and I have it on recording.
I'm just telling you. I've given you my answer with regard to that.
Would you like to hear the
We're
recording?
done. I asked you from April until January how much cash money you spent on yourself, your daughter, and your son who were living in his house. Do you work?
Yes.
What do you do?
I do accounting, accounts receivable, about 4 days a week, 2 hours a day.
2 hours a day. So you work 8 hours a week.
Yes.
You must be a very high hourly paid person.
No, I'm on disability. I'm sick.
So you also get disability?
Yes.
For how long?
Since 2003.
Is there any reason why you can't work more than 2 hours a day?
Yes, I'm very sick.
Okay. Now, did she return your keys?
She UPS'd them at the end of January after she kept entering my house with my girlfriend living there.
Okay. You now have a new girlfriend.
Yes.
Does she pay rent?
Yes, she does.
Okay. Now, your countersuit mainly is this, that she took out from the joint account $1,254.
Yes.
You had put her on your joint account, she says, because she paid bills when you
Yes.
were out of
When I
town.
was purchasing the house.
Because she's I don't get involved with that. I'm sympathetic with you, but you're playing house with somebody. You're an idiot to put somebody on a joint bank account and put money in it. She went and took out $1,254. Did you close the joint checking
did.
account? Okay, this is your very good friend. Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by...
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Now, then the other thing is, in July of 2019, you took a trip. It was supposed to be her treat. Borrowed money. You had to pay her father back for it. I don't care about that. Do you understand? You're living together. You're playing house. I don't get involved with that. We have divorce courts for that, but we don't have courts for almost people who are almost living together. Are you all happy now? You have a new girlfriend, right, who's living
yeah.
and paying rent?
Yes.
Sounds like a keeper to me.
It is.
We're done.
Oh, yeah.
Well, these are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
This scam went into overdrive.
She asked us if we wanted the vehicle for $500.
No, you were more than fools.
Judge Judy.
I think she was really mad because I got another girl living in the house.
Everything was fine until he moved in the girlfriend.
She kept telling me she had nowhere to go, nowhere to put it, and so I just left it there.
That doesn't pay rent, that gets food stamps, and they live off it.
You know, so I kept telling her that she needs to get her stuff out and
So the whole thing is just a bunch of lies.
just keep the trash out.
Don't date the crazies.
Her cousin had high hopes for his visit.
You brought some goodies with you, some brownies that were laced with cannabis.
And I'd like the record to reflect that it wasn't for me.
But what happened
It was in my luggage. The dog went inside of the luggage.
was a real downer.
She was going to take the dog to the vet.
But the dog was behaving normally. It was kind of just laying there.
The dog was high.
This is Judge Judy. Tahara Wright is suing her cousin, Anthony Chambers, for vet bills, lost wages, and pain and suffering after her dog ate Anthony's marijuana-laced chocolates.
Your Honor, this is case number 4. Has it been sworn in, Judge? You may be seated, sir.
Thanks, Bert.
You're welcome.
Miss Wright, this is your cousin, and according to what I read, he and his brother came to visit you as house guests over Memorial Day weekend. And you have a dog, that dog that I see over in the corner. It's a lovely
beautiful dog.
How long have you had the dog?
3 years. I rescued him. He was blind. He was getting beaten, so I rescued him. He's a very nice dog. Has a disability, but so cute.
Totally blind.
Totally blind, yes.
Do you know how old he is?
Yes, he's about 3, 4 years old. When I rescued him, you know, the paperwork wasn't all together, you know, because I adopted him. He was abused. His name's Graham.
Was his blindness a congenital condition, or was it the result of abuse?
The result of abuse, yes. And now he's still
Good
getting
for you.
abused to this day. He's still getting abused to this day.
Why?
Because of my cousin.
Oh, well, we'll get to that in a minute. He's not
Okay.
being abused in your house, I assume.
Oh, no, oh, no,
I
oh, no.
assume
I
he's-
treat him with a lot of love, a lot of love.
Okay, very good. Let's not be overdramatic.
Okay, no dramatics. just
Understood? Got it?
Yes.
Good. It is your claim that your cousin, either accidentally or on purpose, allowed your dog to get control of a controlled substance, making the dog ill. You want him to be responsible for the vet bills, that doctor. That's your claim.
Also wages and pain and suffering, and yes, it was actually on purpose.
Yes, yeah. My pain, my suffering, you want your vet bills paid. Okay. On what date did your cousin arrive in your house?
Oh, what day was that? Let me see. Excuse me. June 3rd. Oh, when he arrived.
Of this year.
What day did he come?
The Friday.
Just don't. I mean, we're not in a playpen here. We're in a court. I'm asking you a question. The questions get harder. On what date did your cousin arrive at your house?
That Friday. June 3rd, I took the dog to the vet, so that Friday before.
What was the date?
Does anyone have a calendar?
I'll wait until somebody gets a calendar.
You have a calendar? You have a phone? Oh.
I do.
Okay.
On what date did you arrive?
Yes, it was Friday, May 29th.
And who did you arrive with?
I rode with the plaintiff's brother, Terrell.
You arrived.
I arrived.
You arrived.
Yes. We took the train down.
Did you and the plaintiff's brother stay in the same room?
Yes.
And how long were you intending to stay?
We were intending to stay until that Sunday, Your Honor, and we were having such a good time. We were exploring the city. We had been locked down due to COVID for a couple of weeks, and so we decided to extend our trip that Sunday.
Until what date? With you, some brownies and stuff that were laced with cannabis, is that right?
That's correct, Your Honor, and I'd like the record to reflect that it wasn't for me.
That it wasn't for you?
Yes, I was bringing it back home to a friend.
Okay, you had purchased it where?
I purchased it in San Diego.
Now, on the 2nd of June,
Correct.
I'd like you to tell me what behavior you noticed in the dog that was different. Now, you had already been there, and I assume you knew the dog before.
Yes.
Yes. So, on the 2nd of June, you noticed that there was some different kind of behavior in the dog. I want you to describe it to me.
Well, there wasn't really any difference in the dog's behavior on June 2nd, Your Honor. The dog was just kind of sleeping and laying around. It kind of does that all the time, though.
Well, why did the plaintiff tell you she was going to take the dog to the vet?
Well, what happened, Your Honor, was on June 2nd, we were all in the kitchen, hanging out in the kitchen. We were probably eating lunch, and the plaintiff's brother walked into the bedroom where my luggage was. And I had my luggage there, and on top of the luggage were clothes, but inside the luggage there was a box of chocolate-covered raisins and marijuana-infused brownie. And the plaintiff's brother walked into the room and saw that the chocolate-covered raisins had been opened, and there was no chocolate raisins in the box. So we assumed that it was the dog, but the dog just laying there the day on June 2nd.
Well, just...
The dog was high.
Okay. I'm not speaking to you.
Oh, okay, sorry. I just want to get it clear.
Not speaking to you. I'm not speaking to you yet. when a person goes in to take some candy out of luggage,
Right.
it's usually relatively neat.
Right.
When a dog goes in and rifles through, there's usually a mess.
Right.
So I assume that according to what you're telling me, the plaintiff's brother came in and said, looks like the dog got into your luggage.
Right, because there was a mess. There was the...
Is that what you said, sir?
Yes, but the candy wasn't in the luggage. It was on the luggage.
I object.
Okay.
She's not talking to you.
You want me to say goodbye to you? It'll be a pleasure. Do you understand? Mm-hmm. Now, are you a dog owner?
No, I'm not a dog owner. There is a dog that lives in the house with me, though, in LA.
Well, you do know a dog eating chocolate can be a very dangerous thing.
Yes.
You do know that.
Correct.
And if there was nothing left of the chocolate-covered raisins, I would assume that you knew that the dog had consumed those raisins, right?
Correct.
And it would have been remiss if the plaintiff did not take her dog to the vet.
Your Honor, she didn't take...
Remiss if she did not take her dog to the vet.
Correct, but I feel like...
To have the dog checked out.
Yes, but I feel like the vet wasn't going to do anything, which they didn't. They sent her home and told her to observe the dog.
What I'm telling you is your cousin a single lady?
Yeah, she's a single lady.
And I assume doesn't have kids?
Nope.
Well, people view their dogs as their children, as they should.
Correct.
And if you have a young child that's gotten into something that is potentially lethal, you want to have that child checked out.
Correct. My question is, why would she wait till the next day?
Well, I don't know why she waited until the next day.
He told me not to take
I'm not speaking to you. I'm not speaking to you. That's not a question that's relevant. The question is, the only reason she took the dog to the vet is because you, either negligently or on purpose, left a potentially lethal substance where this dog could get it.
Your Honor, it was.
You are responsible for the vet bill.
May I submit, Your Honor, that it was in my luggage. The dog went inside of the luggage. This was in her home. She should be responsible. And, Your Honor, her dog has attacked people many times. And the plaintiff's brother can attest to that.
Listen to me. The dog did not attack you, who is blind, got into your luggage.
Right.
The dog does not look like a sleuth. The dog is a dog, a blind dog, and you left your luggage. Your cousin says it was on top. I don't care if it was underneath. It was left in such a manner. Pay attention, you're trying to speak to me. It was left in such a manner that the dog could consume it. You're responsible for the vet bill. Period. End of discussion. We're done. Hands down. What was the vet bill?
$450.
May I see it, please?
Yes. He had to have a lot of treatment done.
Just a second. Just don't. I didn't ask you a question. I just said I wanted to see it. $446. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished with everybody.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
She doesn't watch the dog. The dog went inside of my luggage.
He has tried to murder my dog on many occasions.
I don't know how the dog did that, but it went inside and opened it up.
Yes, I didn't know that he was going to have my feed it to my dog.
And we were in her home where she should have been responsible.
Or the raisins or the chocolate.
And she actually wants to give the dog away, and we can call her mom to verify that.
I love my dog. Look at him. He's so nice.
She doesn't even want to take care of the dog right now.
He eats the finest food, drinks the finest water.
This doesn't destroy our relationship.
Oh, no, he's not welcome at all, no, or you're gonna see me back here.
All parties in the matter of Bad Heart Bull versus Panchal. Approach the podium, please.
Janice Bad Heart Bull is suing Jitendra Panchal for a refund for a fraudulent car sale.
Janice, how do you know the defendant?
I met the defendant, I would say, quite a few years ago when I had a 2011 Scion, and I bought some parts from him for that car.
So he's in the business?
As far as I knew, he works for United Airlines, and his hobby is rebuilding Scions.
You had nothing other than a business relationship with him?
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Now, you were looking for another car?
Correct.
In what month and year?
It was in 2019. I was looking... The month, I would say probably August, I called him to let him know that I would be receiving some money and I was looking to buy another Scion. And since they don't make
Why?
I just love them because it's like having a truck, but a car because I can pack a lot of stuff in it, and I do a lot of artwork.
What do you do?
I do a lot of artwork, and so I just find things that inspire me.
And you had bought just parts from him before, never a car?
Correct.
When did he advise you that he had
one, but he needed to do work on it, and I told him I wasn't ready right away.
Did you go and see the car?
No, there was not an opening for that. Because he was working on it as far as...
What do you mean there wasn't open?
He was fixing it. I don't know what he was doing to it at the point, but he was repairing whatever. And I never saw the car until the day I purchased it.
And on what date did you purchase it?
I purchased in September of 2019.
Okay. And you paid $4,500 for the car.
That's incorrect. He charged me $5,000, and then I gave him another $500 on top of it because I didn't approve of the bodywork repairs he made that I was unaware of.
Okay, well, you say that you agreed on a price of $4,500 in your complaint.
Yes, we did.
I agreed to a price of $4,500 and received my loan.
Yes, and I do have the evidence and a phone call that we agreed to...
No, don't tell me the...
No, I'm saying yes. I asked for a car for $4,500.
Is that correct, sir?
The price was $4,500, and then I told her that the hood needs to be painted, and I had sent her pictures also. I have the evidence for that, also before and after.
Just a second. So she did, in fact, then give you $5,000?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Plus $500.
And you took the car...
in September, no, I'm sorry, date issue was 12/16 of 2019. That's when I took possession.
What?
Well, I'm looking at the...
When did she take possession of the car?
September.
September? Yeah, I'm like confused on all the paperwork.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
He may be the world's greatest scam artist. If you want to tell me bad things about him, I'll give you as much time as you like.
He swore to me that it had a clean engine, clean title.
Janice!
Yes, wait.
Pay attention.
Janice Badhart-Bull says Jitendra Panchal defrauded her regarding the sale of a car.
Now, do you have a bill of sale?
The bill of sale, I've already sent it, but I have an evidence where she signed the paperwork.
I just want to see a bill of sale.
I do not have a bill of sale.
I would like to see the bill of sale.
All I have is his check, the check that the bank wrote, a cashier's check to him, and his signature.
I just need a bill of sale for the car.
I have this evidence up here, if you can see.
He never gave me a bill of sales.
What is a statement of facts? What is that?
Statement of fact. It's a statement of fact that the car is sold as is, and I'm not responsible for any tickets. So
I've never seen that.
I don't see that.
This is always, whenever I bought a car, people have got this one signed for me also.
Well, I don't know about... That's nothing. Your statement of facts is nothing.
No, I never saw that paper.
What is that? What is on the other side?
It's a DMV form, which tells you if you're clarifying anything regarding the car, if the car was damaged or anything like that.
Public Service Agency, completely appropriate. Okay. It's a used car. It's 11 years old. You took possession of the car in September of 2019. How long did you drive it?
I had it for 6 months.
And then it stopped running?
It was 4,000 miles before it blew up.
So it blew up. You drove it for 6 months, and now you want your money back.
That's not what I wasn't. It's not a buyer beware. I have so much about him falsifying documents to the DMV, to my bank, and I even have the paperwork that he filled out, which falsified. He swore to me on this car that it had a clean engine, clean title. That's all I ever heard. Clean engine, clean title. I called him up, and this is how it went. It's like I'm on
Janice,
yes.
Janice.
Yes, wait.
Pay attention.
Sorry.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Please, this isn't right what he did.
What he did may not be right.
But how can you lie to the DMV?
Bad people do that.
And he's not responsible for anything?
Bad people do that.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Janice Badhart-Bull says Jitendra Panchal defrauded her regarding the sale of a car.
Now, Janice.
Yes.
You bought an 11-year-old car and you drove it for 6 months. Are you telling me that you didn't register it?
No, it was registered.
You just said. And it was registered in whose name?
It was registered in my...
When you were driving the car.
When I drove the car,
Janice.
Yes.
when you drove the car, it was registered in your name.
Correct.
Right. And you drove it for 6 months.
Right, but can we talk...
You don't get your money back.
It's not. It's not about the purchase of the car. It's the whole situation. He took advantage of an elderly. He lied from the very beginning. He promised to fix the work because I wasn't happy with it. He took off out of the country. He took the money and went out of the country, did not follow through with anything. I even have a phone message saying that we agreed to $4,500. He made it $5,000. He's like, oh, I gave you this, and he goes, I put on lifetime guarantee brakes. You got the rims. You got this. I go, I never asked for that.
Janice, greatest scam artist. You drove the car for 6 months. You bought an 11-year-old car. If you want to tell me bad things about him, just to get it off your chest, I'll give you as much time as you like, but you're not getting your money back for the car.
I'm trying to explain that it has more to do with than me purchasing the car and the car being bad. That's not what it's all about. What it's about is the whole agreement. I was honest and told him exactly what I needed. He swore to me that that car would last because I'm on a fixed income. I'm retired. And you know, I tried to work with the car. I have evidence showing that I've spent a fortune on it getting repairs. I'm not even asking for that. All I'm asking for is to be reimbursed for the second car I had to buy I had to buy 2 cars in 6 months. And it's, you know, I mean, I have evidence showing where the odometer was turned back.
You don't have a claim against him.
But how can you...
Just listen.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter.
You don't have a claim against him. An 11-year-old car.
Right.
You registered it. You drove it for 6 months.
Technically, he registered it.
It had no guarantee. It had no warranty. That's what happens when you buy an 11-year-old car for somebody that is a hobby, fixes up cars. You have no recourse on what you're supposed to be if you're...
Okay.
I don't care what he told you. It's irrelevant.
It's not about what he told me. It's in writing to the DMV. It's in writing to my bank.
Okay.
So that's what I'm trying to show you.
We're done. Thank you very much. We're finished. We're finished.
No, I have everything, please. Please, this isn't right what he did. It's got nothing to do with
what he did may not be...
But how can you lie to the DMV? How can you lie to my bank? How can you?
Bad people do that.
And he's not responsible for anything?
Bad people do that.
And
Bottom line is,
he took more money.
You want your money back. You bought a used car that was 11 years old, and you paid reasonably for it because I've checked. I'm speaking because I checked the Blue Book value of the car and what they're being sold for. So for $4,500 or $5,000, it was a pretty good deal. Some of those cars are being sold for $7,000. Some are being sold for $8,000. I'm sure you know that you looked, because I was able to find out what they were. You bought a used car, 11 years old, you drove it for 6 months, you don't get any money back. We're done here.
Can I ask a question about the Carfax report?
No.
And the odometer turned back?
No. We're done. What part of we're done don't you understand, folks there?
This case is finished. Parties are excused.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy, their relationship was finally over, but he wasn't over it.
I tell him, get out of here. He rammed his truck into my vehicle.
That never happened.
Nope.
Judge Judy.
I was told it had 120,000 miles.
The car is sold as is. There's no warranty on the car.
He swore to me that it would last for 300,000 miles.
So if after 6 months anything happens to the car, I'm not responsible for it.
I was sitting at a stop sign and then it blew up, so...
The car title itself also says it's a clean title.
It lasted 4,000 miles.
It doesn't say it was a rollback or anything like that.
I guess you need to do your research and not trust people that you know.
The situation today is like, I don't know her anything.
A disputed path to their crash.
I was trying to get into this lane here.
But she was already in that lane.
No, I wasn't even in that lane.
I'm actually liking this case.
Now their conflict is at a crossroads.
He's 100% at fault when he hit my car.
Well, they only sent her 50%. She wants the whole thing. What do you think?
This is Judge Judy. Meredith Less is suing fellow motorist William Frankie for an accident on the road.
Judge, this is case number 42 on the calendar in the matter of Less versus Frankie. Parties are sworn in.
Miss Less, you had a car accident with the defendant over a year ago.
Correct.
You claimed that the accident was his fault. You did nothing about it for a year. Now you say that we have COVID, you had enough time to have your car fixed, so now you're pursuing a claim against him.
Correct.
That's where we're at. You were driving a 2009 Lincoln, and I assume you had liability insurance, but not collision.
Correct.
With whom were you insured?
Geico?
Do you still have the car?
Yes, I do.
And Mr. Frankie, what kind of a car were you driving on August 24th of 2019?
A Toyota Prius,
What year?
2012.
And did you have liability and or collision on the car?
Yes, I had full cover. Kemper?
From my information, when you had this accident, did you exchange information with Miss Less? Did you give her your insurance card and your registration and your license?
Yeah, I don't remember about the license and registration, but I definitely gave her my insurance.
You had never met Mr. Frankie before, is that right?
That's correct.
So if you had an accident that you allege was his fault and you decided not to call the police to the accident, I assume you were satisfied that you had sufficient contact information for him.
Correct. We exchanged all information.
So you had his insurance card.
Correct.
When did you notify his insurance company?
I contacted my insurance that day, and they started the process. And then I got in touch with Kemper within a few days, and they had me go through their process.
And what happened?
I submitted all the photos and information through the app they told me to download, and then that was it. And then I think within a month I got information regarding what the estimate for repairs would be.
Okay, did you get a check from his insurance company?
In July of this year, but I haven't done anything with it because...
What was the check that you got from Kemper Insurance? Would you please tell me what was the amount of the check?
The amount was $715.43.
And when you accepted the check, you signed a document that said that that was in full satisfaction of your claim.
No, I did not.
You had to, otherwise they're not going to send you a check.
Well, what happened was I took the car to a mechanic, and they called the insurance, and we're speaking with them, and they said they would send over a check. And then when I got the check, I called because it was for half the amount when they said they were going to pay 100% of the estimated repair cost.
Did you cash the check?
No. I have the check physically with me.
It?
Yes.
Great. Take it out. Great. Okay, very good. I'm actually liking this case. So you have an estimate.
I do.
To fix your car.
Through Kemper,
I'd like
yes.
to take a look at it because, Mr. Frankie, if your insurance company sent her a check, they found that you were at fault. Your insurance company found you were at fault. You understand that?
Correct, 50% from my understanding.
Well, they only sent her 50%. Your understanding from what she says is she got 50%. Your insurance company found you were sufficiently at fault to send her a check. Would you just put up on my evidence screen the estimate of having the car fixed?
Yes, I already did.
$1,430. Okay, great. Now would you show me the damage to the car?
I have two photos. Here's the first one. It's the right passenger side above the wheel fender area.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have a check. So the estimate is for $1,430.
Correct.
To fix it. You got a check for them for $715. Can you tell me why you're suing him for $1,430?
Well, I'm suing him for the full amount because he's 100% at fault when he hit my car.
Yeah, but you already have a check for half.
Okay, so when I spoke with my insurance adjuster, he said you either accept the check they sent or you take Mr. Williams to court. So I haven't done anything with the check. I'm not going to because I'm here today.
Okay, so you have that check.
Correct.
You have that check. Take it back and put it on your desk. Now, who was making a left turn? Were you both preparing to make a left turn?
No.
I was preparing to make a left turn.
Okay. And was Miss Les in front or behind you?
She came from behind me.
All right. Miss Les, you're driving down. You're driving in the same direction. You're in the left lane. He's in the left.
I was in the middle lane on the street. He was in the lane to my right. And he was somewhat behind me. Like, we weren't head-to-head on that. So when I kept going and then he decided to turn, he hit the front passenger side of my car. I was going straight.
You were going straight, and he says you were making a left turn?
I was getting into the turn lane to make a left turn.
But she was in the middle.
Yeah,
You were on her right.
I was on her right, correct.
I'm trying to visualize
I have
this.
some pictures.
She's in the middle lane. You're on the right lane.
Correct.
Oh, I'd like to see them.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, great. Oh, that's better.
I'm the blue car.
I'm not following. You're both going in which
So-
direction? Point to the direction that you're
So we're
going. I
going-
see where her car is.
We're going this way.
In that direction.
Correct.
And
I had just
she
come...
is the orange.
Correct. So I'd just come from this direction on a street, and I took a left turn onto La Brea here. So I took a left turn.
Okay.
And I intended to go
Right.
up here to take another left down here. In this,
Okay,
so
but
I wanted
she's
to get...
but she's in your space.
So, yes, I think she was... I assumed she was also intending to take a left turn on to Romaine from La Brea here. That's what I assumed. And there's...
Right, but she was already in that lane.
So I did not see her in this lane. I thought that you had to... I think she came from here into this turn lane, and I was going into this
You mean
turn
into the-
lane. I was going into this turn lane to get here.
I see that.
I hit her here because I'm assuming she was going to go straight through to take a left turn also.
She was going straight.
Correct.
No, she
But
says she
that's
was
what
going
she's saying,
straight. You
yeah.
were not making a left turn.
No, I wasn't even in
Is that right?
lane.
She was in this turn lane.
I
So
was in the
Well,
middle
you
lane.
want to show me where you were?
Sure, I would love
You
to.
want to show me where you were?
And I wouldn't be making a turn because I know I was heading to Los Feliz, where I'd be making a right onto Sunset. So,
Okay.
there I am in the middle lane, going northbound.
And you're going straight.
Correct.
And he's all the way on your right.
Correct.
And he wanted to get over to make a left turn.
Correct.
I got it. Did you have any damage to your car, sir?
the damage was very minimal. I have a picture of
Okay.
my mirror, but it was very minimal. Do you want to see the picture?
Well, is a mirror what hit her car?
That's what I thought hit her car. I'm not sure. I think when I have pictures of her car and I see that, and possibly her fender.
Okay.
But I was unsure if I hit the fender when I saw the damage.
Okay. Mr. Frankie, you know, it's an accident. It's not an on purpose. It's an accident. Somebody's usually responsible for an accident. Sometimes it's both people's fault, but usually it's one person's fault. That looks to me, what I saw, that this accident was your fault. You were in the right lane trying to get over to the left lane, and you hit her car. Didn't cause a lot of damage to yours. It's an accident, right? You had insurance. Your insurance company copped out. Her damage was $1,400. They paid her $7,000. She wants the whole thing. What do you think?
I know that I was intending to go into, I'd already went this direction, the opposite direction, past Romaine to go to Willoughby, which is further down, if you want to look right here on the chart. So Romaine is up here. Willoughby is down here. Parking, there's a parking structure for Target off of Romaine over here that I intended to go to. And you can only get there from going to Romaine. You can't get there from the other direction. So I went down, made a U-turn on Willoughby, came back.
I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying to me, sir, but you
Okay,
were in
can I
the
show
right
you-
lane going to the left lane.
Can I show you another picture then?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't think
Are you-
anybody's
it's
driving
what
in
you-
the parking area.
Sometimes you can in California because if there's no parking between certain times and certain times.
Oh, this is
there
true. You're right.
And later today,
What special thing about this pontoon boat motivated you to spend 3 times as much as you could have for cash?
Meredith Less says fellow motorist William Frankie merged into her lane and ran into her car.
Now, she didn't hit you. You hit her.
But there's a flaw in the other picture that she showed.
Okay, I'd like to see it.
So if you would bring up that picture that she showed, you can see, but I don't have her picture. But I do have this Google map right here, whichever you'd like to look at.
Those things.
This right here.
Well, let me see the Google map. They confuse me usually.
So right here, I can turn it so it's the same as the chart.
Okay, better.
Okay, so here's Romaine. We're going up here. This is the turn lane. You can see the arrow right there.
No, I understand that. Where was your car?
So do you see that?
Was your car in the right lane?
The parked car? So
yes.
I was not.
Is what you're telling me there were parked cars there?
Yeah,
Were there cars parked there?
I parked there. I pulled off the road and parked there from.
For what?
From after I got hit here, I pulled right over here, and I have a picture showing where my car was parked right after that.
Well, you didn't get hit because your car hit her.
Yeah, so I parked right there. I was trying to get into this turn lane, and I don't think anybody's driving in this in the parking area, was what I'm saying. There's two other lanes here.
Well, sometimes you can in California, because if there's no parking between certain times and certain times, a whole...
Oh, this is true. You're right.
Streets. There are streets where you're not allowed to park at all during certain times, and there's free-flowing traffic there.
Actually, you're right.
Yes,
and it was at 7 o'clock, which is a rush hour.
So that would have been no parking in that area, as it is on Wilshire, for instance. You're not allowed to park after 4 o'clock on Wilshire in the park lane.
This is correct.
Mr. Frankie, I think that you owe the plaintiff $715, and then she's got the check from your insurance company. Now you're whole. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $715. We're done.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
She makes the final call.
She looked to the evidence.
I'm here just trusting that justice would prevail, and I kind of trust the final call.
He stated he was fiddling with the GPS.
Accidents happen.
Trying to get the car fixed.
All parties in the matter of Vasugi versus Hill, step to the podium, please.
Hamid and Susan Vasugi are suing William Hill for the cost of a pontoon boat, a boat motor, and registration fees.
Mr. and Mrs. Vasugi, you purchased what you call a party boat.
Yes.
From the defendant, spent a lot of money not only for the boat, but for parts for it, for furniture for it, and now claim that you can't register it because of certain problems with the defendant's registration, and that you ordered a motor for the boat from him, gave him money for the motor for the boat, which he has not put in to the boat.
Yes.
Correct. Suing for $5,000. I have a couple of questions. Do you have a photograph of this boat that you purchased from the defendant?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it. Are those pontoons on either side?
Yes.
So it's a pontoon boat?
Yes.
And this pontoon boat is 30 years old, according to your complaint?
Yes, it's a 1989.
And how much do you claim that you paid the defendant for it?
$6,500 cash and $500.
According to you, $6,500 in cash. Now, my question to you, Ms. Vasugi, before we go any further is, why would you pay him $6,500 in cash if you're a functional illiterate on the internet, as I am, and you can go on the internet and you can buy a 1989 pontoon boat for anywhere from $2,500 to $5,500? And I have owned a pontoon boat. So I would like you to tell me what special thing about this pontoon boat motivated you to spend 3 times as much as you could have for cash than you could have any place else where I'm looking on the internet.
The body of the boat is in good condition, the pontoons and the body.
Yes.
We were going to replace all the furniture, and we wanted to fix the current motor, but we changed our mind. We thought it was a good value. We have some boating experience.
Just a second. You know, Mrs. Vasugi, I'm not buying that.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So far you've spent $16,000 on a boat with no proof that the money went to him when you could have bought a 31-year-old boat for $5,000.
Hamid and Susan Vasugi claim William Hill sold them a pontoon boat with no title or registration.
Okay. Now, after you paid him, allegedly, $6,500 for the boat, you invested a whole lot of other money in it. Tell me, what other money you invested in the boat? Because I need that for my record.
Sure. We bought some furniture for the boat. This is patio furniture.
I have that here. And how much did you pay? Just a second. And how much did you pay for the furniture?
About, it was $3,260.
So far, you're up to almost $10,000.
Yes.
For this 30-year-old boat.
A bimini top.
What kind of work do you and your husband do?
We're retired. We sold a car.
I'd like you to show me.
For the money to do this.
To whom?
To an individual who paid us cash. I have the bill of receipt.
Does it have his name on it and his phone number?
It has his name.
Well, get me his name and his phone number. I'd like to know exactly how much this person paid you for your boat.
It says
no,
this was for our vehicle.
He says he paid you. Just a second. It says he paid Mr. Klein, who I could call. I'm sure you have his number because there's an address there.
Yes, we do. We do.
It says he paid $8,000 in May of 2000, that bill of sale, to, it was something else before somebody tried to write May 18th.
And I have his phone number if you'd like to call him. But we sold him a 2008 Mercedes-Benz E350. He gave us $8,000 in cash, and that's what we used to purchase the boat.
That's not what you say in your complaint, madam.
Well, we considered
you decided to sell. No. In your complaint, you say, we decided to sell our speedboat and buy a patio boat to cruise around. So far, you've spent $10,000
we didn't
on
sell
a boat
the speedboat.
that you could buy.
We still have it.
No, so far, just a second. So far, Ms. Vasugi, you've spent $10,000, and that's before the motor that you said you bought from him. You spent $10,000 on new furniture, $6,500 for a boat that you could have bought for $3,500. So we're up to almost $10,000, and then you decided to invest in a motor. And how much money did you give him for the motor?
$6,100.
And do you have a check for that cleared?
Yes.
And I'd like to see.
It's not actually a check. We took cash from the bank for $6,000, and then we had $1,000 out of our pocket. $100 out of our pocket.
Ms. Vasugi, so far you've spent $16,000 on a boat with a 31-year-old boat for $5,000.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
All right, so I'm going to tell you this, Ms. Vasugi. I may be a skeptic, but I'm dismissing your case without prejudice. You go back to your local small claims court, and if they buy your evidence, good for you. I don't.
I mean,
do you understand?
I don't understand because I have proof of everything I spent. He gave me stickers that don't even belong to my boat.
What I'm telling you is neither you nor your husband look like foolish people. I don't believe in your cash transactions that amount to over $10,000.
They do cost that much, Your Honor.
Just a second. They may, and someone may believe you. I don't. You're no worse for your arrival here. You go back to your local small claims court and convince a judge, just like me. So I'm dismissing your case without prejudice because I don't buy it. Got it?
Okay.
Well, we have it.
Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on
that much money.
I was happy with the decision.
We never got a title or registration. We were given invalid stickers and an invalid license plate.
I have all the titles.
I guess we'll take it back to court.
I'd like it to be done.
Instability in the family.
I'm just getting the lay of the land here.
One sister falls on hard times.
Now you're living with your father.
Yes, I am.
And the other makes the best of it.
I live with my ex-husband after being separated for 5 years.
Must like him again.
Yeah, he's my husband.
I never heard that before. Look, at my age, I learned a new word.
This is Judge Judy. Cheryl Coljatt is suing her sister, Carla Young, for stealing her furniture from a storage unit.
Judge, this is case number 74 on the calendar in the matter of Coljatt versus Young. Parties have been sworn in. Sir, have a seat.
Thank you. Ms. Kojat, the defendant is your sister, and it is your claim that she disposed of property that belongs to you that was being stored in a storage unit that she rented.
Yes.
I have a few questions before I get to the facts of what was in the unit and how your stuff got to be there. Preliminary questions. Miss Young.
For a law firm.
Do you have a family or do you live alone?
I live with my ex-husband.
You must like him again.
Yeah, he's my husband. He was my husband.
Was your husband? I never heard that before. Look, at my age, I learned a new word. Okay. Tell me when you rented the storage units and why.
I rented a storage unit for myself when I moved back to Boise 5 years ago because there wasn't enough room in the house for my stuff with his stuff there.
So you moved back with him?
I moved back in with him after being separated for 5 years.
Okay. And you took one storage unit or two?
I took one storage unit and put all my stuff in that storage unit.
How did it come to pass that you took a second storage unit?
In December of 2018, my sister was leaving a temporary residential arrangement and needed a place to put her stuff, so I rented a unit to store her stuff in.
Okay. Did your sister ask you to rent a storage unit?
Yes.
And you put it in your name?
Yes, it was connected with my first storage unit. So if I missed a payment on the second storage unit, they would default my first unit.
Well, I don't know that. And you don't have anything, I assume, that suggests that. Ms. Kojat.
Yes.
From what I read in your papers, most of your big items took up a second storage unit.
No, ma'am. They took up about 2/3 of that storage unit. She had her own furniture in that storage unit also. I did not have the whole storage unit, and I did not rent it in December. I moved out in January 17th.
January. January. Let's start with you. What do you do for a living?
I'm on SSI. I'm disabled. And I live with my dad, and I care for my dad, our dad.
Well, why did your furniture have to be in storage? What kind of temporary facility?
I was living in Boise, Idaho at the time, and my roommate was not paying rent, and so we were evicted in January 17th of 2019. I had to move out, and it was January 17th of 2019, not December.
Were you paying rent?
Yes, I was.
Okay, and now you're living with your father?
Yes, I am. And I'm paying rent there, too.
Is it in your father's house?
Yes, it is. It is my father's house.
You have to let me finish my question.
Yes, ma'am.
It's your father's house. And you said you were living there to take care of him. That's what you said a moment ago.
That, yes.
That you were there taking care of him. And is what you want me to believe that you're taking care of him and he's charging you rent?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Do you get any money?
$83.
And what do you do to take care of him?
I feed him, I cook his meals, I give him his medication, I make sure he takes his insulin. I get him up in the morning, I help him get dressed.
Well, it sounds as if you're pretty capable. Did anybody else do that before you moved in?
No, ma'am. He's progressively getting worse since I moved in.
Miss Young, do you know anything about your sister's living arrangements with your father?
Yes, I do.
Okay, and let's go back to, was anybody helping your father before she moved in January of last year?
He had services through the VA and had a home health care nurse that would come by the house.
Of course.
But Cheryl did not like that home health care nurse.
No, that's incorrect.
Don't speak. Okay. He had some help through the VA.
Yes.
And a home health care nurse.
Not a nurse.
When your sister moved in, other than your sister, does anybody else assist him?
Her daughter Skylar was living there as well. I don't remember when Skylar moved in.
Is she still there?
No, she moved out.
A year ago.
Don't speak when I'm not looking in your direction.
Your Honor, she did make a misstatement with regard to her furniture.
No, I'm going to get to the furniture in a second. I have another train that I'm taking down the road right now. Do you know if your sister is Medicare for giving your father assistance?
I believe she is not. I do not know.
Do you know if your father is eligible for home health care aid?
I do not.
Do you speak to your father?
Yes, I do.
Is your father charging your sister rent?
No, he is not. She is paying the cell phone bill and buying some groceries, but not all of the groceries with her food stamps.
Does that sound accurate to you?
Not quite. He has a nurse come in once a month from the VA. An RN comes in once a month from the VA, and she does his meds and takes blood work and stuff like that once a month. And when I first started going there, he had a nurse's aide come in from a home health place, and she would come in and visit with him and wet mop the kitchen floor.
What about
lie about
food?
her hours.
What about food?
I
and
purchased
cell
food
phone?
with food stamps and cash.
And cell phone.
I spend about $250 a month on food. I get $116 a month in food
I'm
stamps.
asking you about rent.
The agreement with my dad is that I would pay the phone bill and purchase food in lieu of rent.
That
equals $400
that's the
a
answer.
month.
The answer is you pay the phone bill and of which you pay for in food stamps, but you do not pay rent.
Okay.
Okay. And the person that would come in and see your dad when you moved in and you said lie about her hours.
Yes, she was there for half the
That
time she
suggests-
claimed.
I'm
sorry.
Somebody was paying for the hours. Some governmental institution was paying for the hours.
My dad was paying it.
From what?
From his retirement and his disability. The VA would send him a bill monthly, and they started garnishing his money.
For the hours that she claimed to work?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just getting the lay of the land here. Okay, now, let us assume that you are telling me accurately that your storage stuff only took up 2/3 of the storage unit. How much was the storage unit a month?
$103 a month.
And show me proof that you paid 2/3 of that over a period of...
I only made one payment.
A year and a half.
I only made one payment.
You made one payment of how much?
$103.
Okay. And in what month and year did you make that one payment?
May of 2020. She didn't ask me to start paying for the unit until my birthday, November, start paying for the unit. And at that time, she said that I could...
So why didn't you...
Can I finish, please?
So why didn't you start paying?
Because I live on a limited income, and I couldn't afford to pay her. And she knew this.
Then get rid of it. Okay, then get rid of it. So this is the situation. You didn't pay for the unit. If you paid for it for 1 month
never agreed
out of
on a
18 months,
price.
that means you didn't pay for it. And when did you tell her to get her stuff out of the unit or start to pay for it? Was that in November of 2019?
No, it was before that. We had this discussion when the unit was rented in December, and the furniture was moved in there when she left her previous rental before she moved in with the guy that kicked her out in January.
He didn't kick me out.
When did
He was evicted.
In what month did you tell her
December
that you were getting rid of
12th,
her stuff?
2020. Oh, when I was getting rid of her stuff, I told her in April that part of her stuff had been moved to my granddaughter's house as she had abandoned the storage unit for not making payments.
What stuff had been moved to your granddaughter's house?
A queen-size bed with the metal frame that the box spring sits on.
Okay, just a second. So a bed? What else?
A bed, a sofa, an end table, and a cocktail table with 4 stools that pull out. It's like a round coffee table, and a dresser.
Okay, and your granddaughter is using that?
She is
I assume
using
that's
them.
why you moved it there.
Everything else. Furniture
What's
that
everything
had
else?
no value. Oh, there's also a TV that's at my granddaughter's house. She had a blue chair.
Is that in the storage unit?
That's in the storage unit. She had boxes of clothes, boxes of dishes, tons of miscellaneous items.
So my question to you is, you must still be paying for that unit.
No, I closed the unit in June of 2020, rented a U-Haul, and drove one way to Payette and delivered all of the remaining items in the storage unit to my dad's garage by unloading the unit when I got there with no help by my sister.
Okay. And up until June of 2020, did you pay for that storage unit?
Yes, I did.
Not consistently.
I was the only one paying it. I have invoices and receipts that go back several months So I paid. I was the only
I'd like
one
to see
that
them.
made the payments until April. She did make
Except-
a $200 payment in April besides the $103 in May.
And you gave my stuff away.
Yes, she did. She
without
gave
warning.
it to...
She did not tell me she was going to do that. I did not find out she gave my
Well,
furniture away until June 11th.
Let's do this. We can make this better in either one of two ways.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later to
insurance. The dog ate the bill. My 5-year-old flushed it down the toilet. Everybody has a reason for not having insurance, and unfortunately, I've heard them all, so I'm not interested in yours.
Cheryl Koljat says her sister, Carla Young, stole her furniture from a storage unit. Carla is countersuing for the cost of the unit.
Now, we can make this better in either one of two ways. Either she can give you back the furniture.
I would like that
when
very
you
much.
pay her for the storage unit.
I don't owe what she says I owe.
Listen to me. I'm making a decision now.
Okay.
This is not a parlor talk. This is not a parlor
I owe
talk.
her money.
This is now decision. This is not time for you to speak anymore. This is me telling you that you can have this used furniture back that's been in storage, that's now being used. You're living with your father. Your father, I assume, has a perfectly furnished house. But you have to pay her the amount of the storage unit, which I believe is $1,700. Now, if you're prepared to pay her the $1,700, you pay her the $1,700. I'm going to direct that she hire a U-Haul, take the furniture from her granddaughter's house, and put it in your father's garage, if that's what you want. But you have to pay her Do you personally want to pay her for the furniture?
Not what she's asking, because I didn't have the whole storage unit. She had stuff in that storage unit. A lot of stuff in that storage unit. Why do I have to pay for the whole unit?
You're not paying for the whole unit. She's asking for $1,900.
That's the whole storage unit. I didn't have my stuff in the whole unit. She had stuff in that unit also. Big stuff in that
I
unit.
understand. How much do you want to pay her?
About
You tell me.
$1,100.
Fine. Now, I will direct that when you pay her $1,100 within 5 days, you don't need more than 5 days to pay her. If you have the $1,100, she is to rent a U-Haul and bring the furniture back to your father's house. Is that what you want?
Yes.
Fine. That's the order. We'll draft it. We're done. Thank you.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
I'm her big sister.
We're family.
It's always been my job to help take care of my younger siblings.
Everybody blocked me and stopped talking to me.
Since I was a little kid.
I think it's pretty sucky.
I'm not sure. I think our
I don't know.
Relationship has been tenuous for a while.
I hope so.
And I don't see it improving right now.
That we could get back together.
Just one day at a time.
All parties in the matter of Andrade podium, please.
Martha Andrade is suing fellow motorist Faribos Etalai for an accident in a megastore parking lot.
Miss Andrade, you and the defendant were involved in an automobile accident in a parking lot in March of this year. Each of you claimed that it was the fault of the other. What I'm gathering from reading your papers is that at the time of the accident, you had no insurance. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Well, that is a huge problem for you.
It is a huge problem, but I can explain what happened.
Well, I don't care why you didn't have insurance, because everybody has a reason for not having insurance. The dog ate the bill. I didn't see it. My 5-year-old flushed it down the toilet. I didn't get it because I moved. Everybody has a reason for not having insurance, and unfortunately, I've heard them all, so I'm not interested in yours.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Why do you think this accident was his fault? I mean, I see the damage to her car, and I see the damage to your car. What I don't see is the lanes there. What were you doing in this red zone?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Faribos Etalai ran into her car in a megastore parking lot.
Now, bottom line is you had this accident with the defendant in a parking lot. You exchanged information on the date of the accident. The defendant's car, by the way, was totaled. Is that right?
Correct. Yes, Your Honor.
He had insurance. His insurance paid for his totaled car. You were driving what kind of a car and what year, sir?
Mercedes-Benz 2010.
And how much did the insurance company give you for it?
They paid $5,500 to the body shop, and I paid $2,500 too to take care of the fixing the car.
Okay. In any event, you're here today, Miss Andrade, because you've not only had to pay to fix your own car, but you got a letter from collections from his insurance company that you owe $8,500.
A little bit more than that, Your Honor.
Okay, so now, why do you think this accident was his fault?
I was going to Costco, and he was parked on the red zone. I have evidence of everything. He wasn't supposed to park there.
Just a second.
Yes.
Okay, so he was stopped in a red zone, and?
So I was driving by to get a parking spot, and all of a sudden I just felt stuck on my car. I'm like, what happened? I think he started driving at the same time, and that's...
Yes. I'm just curious.
Your Honor, I have my picture also, if you're interested.
He says his car was completely towed.
He didn't say it was totaled. He said it was undrivable.
As a matter of fact...
Okay. As you can see here, his car is parallel to hitting my car. It wasn't me that hit him. I was passing by, and you can see the way he hit me. I have proof there was only a little scratch on his car.
No.
This is what happened to my car.
And
this is what happened to his car. Can you tell me why would this be...
Just a second. So what you're saying is you were driving by, and he went into you.
Yes.
He was saying he was stopped. You tried to get by him, and your cars collided. Is that what you're going to tell me?
Yes, Your Honor.
You want to show me a picture?
I have a picture.
You want to show me a picture?
Sir. This is one of the picture.
I got it. I mean, I see the damage to her car, and I see the damage to your car. What I don't see is the lanes there. What were you doing in this red zone?
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What were you doing in this red zone?
I realized that, I got hit. And I was shocked.
Just a second. So you were standing still waiting for a spot? Your car wasn't moving?
No, and she was crossing or passing, something like that, which I got hit. I have a couple more pictures if you're interested.
I'll see them.
Please, and
I'll see them.
The car wasn't drivable anymore, and
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I have no counterclaim.
I know, but the car took 2 weeks for fixing. I had no car.
You don't have a counterclaim, sir. You don't have a counterclaim. If you had a counterclaim, I would hear you. But you don't have a counterclaim. You didn't file one. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. So there's no reason for you to tell me about what your troubles are. I believe that you had expenses over and above it. I would entertain it if you had a counterclaim, which you don't.
Yes.
Ms. Andrade, you don't come to court without insurance and ask
I have insurance now, Your Honor.
Your case is just... You didn't have insurance on the date of the accident.
Your Honor.
Ms. Andrade, you didn't have insurance on the date of the accident. I'm not helping you.
But this is not...
Courts don't
he's
help
charging
people.
me for something that... No.
Court,
Your Honor, please.
Courts don't help
I need
people
you
who
to
have no
understand.
insurance. The case is over.
Fair. It's
done.
not fair what he's doing to me.
We're done.
I need you to help me,
We're
please.
done.
Ma'am, this case is concluded. The parties are...
Thank you, Your Honor.
And on the next Judge Judy, for Salon.
You filed the restraining order against her because she threatened to put a gun to your head.
Next Judge Judy.
What happened is that I had just purchased my insurance from a previous insurance.
I already had the insurance, and beside that, I paid $2,500 from my own pocket.
They told me they were going to send me hard copies by mail, which I never received.
To fix my car, and I hadn't car for 2 weeks.
So when I called, they said my insurance was canceled for non-payment.
Also, I had emotional distress about this.
There's no damage to his car, just a little scratch.
I didn't get any money. The body shop received that amount to fix the car.
The damage is in my car, which I haven't been able to fix yet.
We need all of us to have insurance no matter what.
So you rented a room in the house.
The reasons to evict were growing.
He brought in his daughter, and then he brought in his second daughter, and then he brought in his third daughter.
You had 60 days to leave. Why didn't you?
Then
the defendant moved into the house.
The landlord forced the issue.
You look like a very mild who is in camouflage.
This is Judge Judy. Ronald Mendez is suing his former landlord, John Griga, for an illegal eviction, harassment, and stolen property.
Judge, this is case number 75 on the calendar in the matter of Mendez versus Griga. Parties have been sworn in. You ladies may be seated, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Mr. Mendez, how long did you live in the house that is currently occupied by Mr. Griga?
About 9 years.
Who did you lease the house from? What was that person's name?
Gerald.
And you had a lease with him?
So we were month to month, and it was a gentleman's.
Just 1 second. In the beginning, when you rented from him, was it a year lease that turned into month to month, or was it always month to month?
It was always month to month.
What was your rent?
Originally, it was $500.
When did it change?
When my daughter started turning 18 and they didn't want to live with their mother no more, I had talked to Jerry. We call him Jerry. And Jerry said, just bring him in. We got a room. I said, I'll pay you $800.
Was anybody else living in the house other than you and your daughter? Or did you have the whole house or just a room in the house?
When I arrived, he had riffraff living there, doing drugs and alcohol and fighting. When I came in there, I helped Jerry get rid of them. And yes, there was other people there.
So you rented a room in the house?
Yes.
And your daughter lived with you, shared the room with you in the house?
Yeah, in the beginning, I got a bunk bed.
Now, the crux of your lawsuit is an illegal eviction. And it is your claim that in the recent past, somewhere in this last year, the defendant became the owner of the house and gave you an eviction notice or a notice that he wanted you to move. That didn't happen. According to you, there were locks put on the door, and locks changed. Ultimately, the defendant, according to him, moved into the house. At that point, according to you, you had had enough of what you call harassment, and you decided to leave in May of this year. That's your lawsuit.
Correct.
The defendant says you owe him rent. Not rent from years ago, because I assume, Mr. Griga, that the plaintiff, over the 9 years that he lived there, was current in his rent, or else he would have been evicted.
Excuse me, Judge, but he did not live there for 9 years. He only lived there for 5 years.
How many?
He moved in May of 2015, and I have a copy of his application, which I provided to him.
Did you manage the property? Is that what you did?
Yes, from the day that he moved in.
Okay. Let's go back, Mr. Mendez. Did you move in 2015?
No.
Well, when did you start working for the original owner, Mr. Griga?
Probably around 2014.
Okay. Well, Mr. Griga, the plaintiff is going to be able to establish by a variety of methods that he lived in his room before 2015. Now, it may have been that you, as the manager of the property, when you got there, gave him an application to rent a room. He says he lived there since 2011. And how would you know that he didn't live there in 2011 when you just started this job in 2014?
It might have been 2012 or 2013, but I know that there were previous renters there.
Mr. Griga, let's start off on the right foot, you and I, because this is my first case of the day. It also happens to be my birthday, and I don't want to put myself in a foul mood at the beginning of my day. When I asked you, is that correct? And you said, no, he didn't move in 2015 because here's his application. That was deceptive. Do you understand? That was deceptive because you had a piece of paper, and someone who may not be as sharp as I am may have said, oh, there's a piece of paper, 2015. He must be telling me 12. Maybe it was also 2011.
Your Honor, it might have been 2011, but at that time, he might have moved in and might have moved out. But I know that I found him in 2015 because I placed an ad and he answered it. And we showed him the room and he filled out an application and the owner of the property signed it and dated it. And we started a month-to-month rental agreement.
Did you move in and out of this room, Mr. Mendez, over the course of 2011 to 2020?
I have been there consistently.
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
You've been there consistently?
Yes. No in and out.
Had you ever lived between 2011 and 2020? Did you live anywhere else?
No.
Okay. Now I'm going to come back to you, Mr. Griga. I want you to tell me in what month and year you decided that you wanted the plaintiff out of the house and you wanted his room, you wanted to end the tenancy. You tell me.
The beginning of 2019.
And tell me why in the beginning of 2019 you decided you wanted him out of the house.
Because originally, if you look at the rental agreement, it shows that the rental agreement is only for Ron, which he also signed and dated, and Gerald signed and dated.
Keep going.
He brought in his daughter, and then he brought in his second daughter, and then maybe in the middle of 2019, he brought in his third daughter.
2 rooms.
Yes.
Okay, when did he take the second room?
I think the second room started around 2018.
How much was the rent on the second room?
Well, both rooms were $800 a month. And I put together a rental agreement. His wife was going to also join him. But when I gave him the rental agreement, he refused to sign it. So we just continued on to a month-to-month.
Now, you gave him this rental agreement. Was Jerry still in the house?
Yes, he was. He was still the owner, but at that time I was essentially the property manager.
Okay. When did you become the owner of the house?
April of 2019.
And at what point did you give the plaintiff the first 30-day notice to quit?
Actually, it's a 60-day notice to quit.
You gave him a 60-day notice. What month?
November 11th of 2019.
Now, Mr. Mendez, you acknowledge that you got a 60-day notice pursuant to your agreement on November 11th, 2019. You acknowledge that you received that?
There was a paper on my door.
That's fine. That's the way he has to give you
Correct.
notice. You acknowledge you received it.
That I did, yes.
Well, then you had 60 days to leave. Why
According
didn't
to that,
you?
according to that, yes.
No. According to the law, you had
Well,
60 days to leave.
So he apparently is a mortgage broker, which means he should, as any kind of transaction that's being sold, he has to tell the neighbors, he's got to tell everybody. Jerry didn't even know.
Listen to me, Mr. Mendez. You cannot tell me what Jerry knew or what he didn't know. As far as I'm concerned, if he is the legal owner of the house now, Jerry knew.
Okay.
All I'm asking you is, you knew he was the owner. You got a notice to leave pursuant to your lease agreement, which is now a month-to-month, on November 11th. My question is simple. Why didn't you start to make arrangements to move?
Again, Jerry didn't even know that he had become the owner. I got an affidavit from him.
You can't tell me that.
But still, nobody knew
Okay,
that he
so-
had become the owner. Nobody knew.
Okay. Well, now you know, right?
Right.
Mr. Mendez, I'm sort of sympathetic with you. I was very sympathetic when I read your papers. Initially, I'm getting a little less sympathetic because he didn't move to evict you during COVID. He didn't. He told you well before anybody knew that there was going to be a pandemic back in November of 2019 that he wanted you out of the house.
Okay, so...
He wanted you to leave. Now, I want to know why you didn't move.
Because Jerry told me, no, it's still his house. And he had never told me he bought the house.
Okay. Now, on what date did the defense, in fact, his house?
He never did.
Just a second. Tell me the circumstances around which you became the owner of this house.
The owner was having financial difficulties, and he asked me, he was in foreclosure. But anyway, he asked me if I would buy the place.
So is what you're telling me, you bought the house before it went into foreclosure?
Yes.
Okay. In what month and year?
April 30th of 2019.
And how much did you pay for it?
I paid off the balance from his existing loan and took over his existing loan, so about $400,000. I don't know the exact number.
And who was the mortgage holder? What financial institution?
It was a bank. I forgot the name right now.
And what was the exact amount of the mortgage that they held on this property?
I would say about $350,000 was the loan, and there's probably about another $40,000 in back payments.
So he was in arrears? Is that what you're telling me? He was in arrears on that mortgage?
Yes.
I want to know how much you paid for the house.
I paid $29,030 for the back amount and took over
$29,030. And you took over the existing mortgage.
That was about
which was how much?
$355,000.
When you made this sign the papers, or was your arrangement, Mr. Grieger, with the bank? Did you take over title to the house from the bank?
I got a new loan.
That's not my question. My question is, did you buy the house from the bank?
No, I bought it from Jerry.
Jerry, was he at the closing? Was there a closing? Because he didn't get any money.
No, you normally you sign all the documents, you get documents notarized, and then you do the recording of the deed.
What's the address of the house?
WACO,
Where is that located?
in Simi Valley.
How much money did you pay to Jerry?
I didn't pay anything to Jerry. Jerry says if I can make the payments current and if he can live in the house, he would transfer the house to me.
Well, Mr. Grieger, you got yourself a very, very good deal.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That would be better than giving it to you. He doesn't have to go to other friends to do that. He's got friends like you. He doesn't need any other enemies. You see, Mr. Mendez, at the beginning of this process, I wasn't so happy with you. I'm getting a little happier.
Ronald Mendez says his former landlord, John Greenley. John is countersuing for unpaid rent and harassment.
Mr. Grieger, you got yourself a very, very good deal.
The house needed a lot of work.
Trusty, just a second. According to my trusty little iPad and Zillow, you got a very good deal. You paid $320,000 for the house. The estimate or zestimate for this house, the high range is $700,000 or more than twice what you paid for it a year ago. So you got yourself a pretty good deal without paying Jerry a penny.
When I had the...
Didn't you suggest him that maybe he should put the house on the open market and see before it got foreclosed? Maybe he could wind up with a couple of bucks. He had been paying the mortgage for at least 9 years. How do you know, Jerry?
I've helped them on getting loan modification for his house about 5 years prior.
The average selling price for the houses nearby, or the comps, are $664,000, more than double of what you bought the house for.
Your Honor, when
That's
the
a
bank
pretty
did
good
the
deal.
appraisal, they appraised it for $530,000, and that's with having the pool redone, the roof redone, a lot of work to be done.
All I'm telling you is, even if they appraise it at a pretty good deal, that's still almost twice what you paid for it.
Well, in a couple of weeks later, he was going to lose the house, and he offered it to me, and he went to everybody else, and he had no other...
You know, somebody who's in that business, sir, like you, because you said, that's my business. I helped them get a mortgage. I helped them do this. You know, you look like a very mild-mannered guy. I have a feeling that I'm looking at somebody who is in camouflage.
Your Honor, I don't do mortgages.
Did you suggest to him that the houses in the neighborhood were selling for far more than what his existing mortgage is, and perhaps he could, even if he wound up with $50,000 in his pocket, that would be better than giving it to you for just bringing the mortgage up to date? He doesn't have to go to other friends to do that. He's got friends like you. He doesn't need any other enemies. Okay. I want you to tell me, Mr. Mendez, you see, at the beginning of this process, I wasn't so happy with you. I'm getting a little happier, just a little.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Considering the fact that you got a house for practically nothing was some sort of shady. I'm just new to your circumstance, and a quick observation on my trusty little iPad suggests to me you're the luckiest guy around.
This is Real People, Judge Judy. Ronald Mendez is accusing his former landlord, John Grieger, of illegally evicting him and his family.
You finally moved out in May. Where did you go?
I moved pretty much a mile away. I had to put down almost $8,000.
Just a second. You moved a mile away into a house with your wife and 3 children?
Correct.
And did you rent it or buy it?
No, I don't have that kind of money. I had to rent it.
I'm just asking you.
Okay.
Rent. And what's the rent that you pay?
Almost $3,000.
For how many rooms?
Has 3 rooms.
The house has 3 rooms, or the house has more rooms and you have 3 rooms?
No, just 3 rooms.
What does that mean?
It just has 3 rooms. And a living room and a kitchen, of course, yeah.
Is what you're telling me, Mr. Mendez, try not to be obtuse with me, is what you're telling me you rented a 3-bedroom, single-family house?
Yes.
Good, for $3,000
Correct.
a month?
Correct.
That sounds reasonable. That's where you should live.
Right.
With your wife and 3 children. What
Correct.
kind of work do you do? What kind of work do you do?
Retail.
What does that mean, retail?
Right now I work for Hobby Lobby, which is a hobby store.
Okay. And your wife, does she work?
She does rehab for women addicted to drugs and alcohol.
And what about your daughters? Do they work?
Michaela is a spin-off for cosmetology, and my youngest one is studying to be a vet.
Okay. So you have 3 people who were there who contribute to running the household.
Yes. And they pay the rent.
As it should be.
Yeah.
Well, and everybody contributes to paying the rent, as it should be.
Correct.
And you signed a lease in this house?
Yes.
When did you sign the lease?
May 1st.
Did you give them a deposit?
Yeah, I had to put down around almost $3,000.
In April of 2020, did you pay rent in the rooms where you were living?
No, Jerry said he wouldn't.
No.
Okay.
No. Don't tell me what Jerry said.
No.
Just answer my question. Did you pay rent in April of 2020?
I could not.
You could not?
Yeah.
Because they wouldn't take it?
Yes.
Don't tell me what Jerry said.
No.
Jerry's not here. I don't care what you say he said.
What the thing is that Jerry was his voice because he would not talk to me. So Jerry said, John says not to take your money.
Just a second. Do you understand what I said to you?
Don't put Jerry in the middle, but he was the
Tell me
middle.
what Jerry said.
Correct.
That's not my problem. Then you should have had him here.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to Judge and follow us on Twitter.
Did you pay rent in April is my question.
No.
The answer is no.
No.
Did you pay rent in March?
No.
Did you pay rent in February?
No.
Did you pay rent in January?
No.
Did you pay rent in December?
Yes.
So not having paid rent, and the rent was $800 a month, you had the $2,400 a month that you needed for the security deposit and to move in to the other house.
Correct.
Good. And now you want another $5,000.
Okay, so there's an actual breakdown.
No.
Yes, I do. It was actually 9,000 something. Yes. Because I hate to say, but the agreements that I made was with Jerry. Everything was Jerry. He was never in the picture. He was never in the picture. Jerry said, take the money and apply it to the...
Your case is dismissed. Now we're going to get to your counterclaim, which is likewise dismissed, sir. I think that whatever dealings you did with Jerry, and considering the fact that you got a house for practically nothing, was some sort of shady. I don't know what condition this Jerry is. I don't know what condition. I don't know if he has family. I don't know any of those things. But I'm just new to your circumstance. And a quick observation on my luckiest guy around. You bought a house for $320,000. The estimate is $699,000, or more than twice what you paid for it a year ago. And the guy, Jerry, is evidently still living there. Is he still living there?
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're done here. I have a counterclaim that I've dismissed, and I hope you're happy in your 3-bedroom house with your wife and 3 children, which is where you should be, not 2 rooms in a house. We're done. Thank you. Goodbye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, does she want her money?
Everything started going downhill once she found out I had a girlfriend.
Or revenge?
I think you're pulling my leg. I think that this is a judicial leg pulling.
Next Judge Judy.
This man is shrewd, very shrewd, and...
I really wasn't the official property manager.
He was a peeping Tom with my kids.
That's totally not true either.
He's a retail broker. You should know he can't just walk into people's houses.
I've never seen any of the daughters.
Well, first of all, he stole the house from them. And I think that was a quick claim deed.
No, that it wasn't a quick claim deed.
Because Jerry told me that he was going to get him a better rate in the mortgage.
I talked to Jerry about that.
So he just signs everything.
We agreed that that's what he wanted to do.
Oh, I think he does it all the time.
I'm glad that the plaintiffs are gone.
You ordered it.
A party planner didn't pay her bills.
The work was performed and you accepted the labor.
Now the judge gets a song and dance.
You didn't communicate with her?
Never.
What she was supposed to do?
Never. We never talked about price. I never received a billing.
We're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
This is Judge Judy. Renee Roberts is suing event planner Maricela Reyes for the cost of props she created for a fundraiser.
Judge, this is case number 87 on the calendar in the matter of Roberts versus Reyes.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge.
Ms. Roberts, it is your claim that the defendant owes you for some work that you did for a charitable fundraiser that she was involved with.
Yes.
Tell me what the charity was and when the event was.
It's called the Cops and Robbers Ball, and it was May 4th, 2019, and it raises money. It's put on.
How did you find the defendant, or how did she find you?
Well, we have a mutual friend. It's somebody that I do a lot of business with. We're a networking group, and she...
What's that person's
name? Her
name
is Terry, and she's also on the committee for this Cops and Robbers Ball. So after one of her committee meetings, she sent me a text and did an introduction between...
You mean Terry did?
Terry did, yes.
Do you have the text?
Yes.
I'd like to see it. Ms. Reyes?
Yes.
Do you know Terry? Is she on the committee with you?
Yes, she's in the committee.
That's a yes or a no. Is she on the committee with you?
Yes.
Fundraising committee. She was in 2019.
Correct.
And you recall events surrounding planning the Cops and Robbers Ball that night?
Yes.
For whatever night it was going to be, May 4th.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Now I'd like to see the text.
So there's a couple before and after.
Shh. Just a second. Okay. So let us assume for the moment, Ms. Roberts, you had a conversation with Terry via text message. Now, what work were you going to do for the Cops and Robbers Ball?
Well, for the Cops and Robbers Ball, I do their tickets, posters, invitations in her business and my business. So she was, referring that not just for the Cops and Robbers.
No, just a second. Okay. Now we're finished with Terry. I don't want to hear anything that you had to do with Terry.
Okay.
Because now we're on the defendant.
Okay.
You were supposed to do what for this event on May 4th? What do you allege that you have a contract with the defendant to do for the May 4th event?
There were some props that she wanted to be part of the overall design of the
So
event.
it was props?
Yes.
Your complaint says cutouts of cops and robbers.
Yeah.
Life-size cutouts.
Yes.
Okay, is that what the props that you're talking about?
Yes.
Now, when for the first time did you speak to the defendant about these props?
I don't know the exact date.
What date?
It's somewhere...
well, let's get to the exact...
Well...
Unless you have a written contract, I'm going to need a date because what you're talking about is a contract to perform work.
Right. So it looks like it was in early February. We spoke on the phone. We tried to meet up back and forth, like we missed phone calls. We tried to meet up.
Tried, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Not interested in coulda, woulda, shoulda. You think you had a phone call with her in February of 2020?
Yes.
Do you have that on your phone? Why not? You have the text message from Terry that preceded that phone call.
Right.
So why wouldn't you have the phone call in February of 2020? Unless we could skip over that. Did you have a phone conversation with the plaintiff in February of 2020?
Never.
My question is, did you ever speak to her in February or in any other month after February?
After that, yes. She was going to bring me a sample of it. I don't remember the date.
No, just a second. A sample of what?
Of the cutout that she was doing.
So if she was going to do a cutout as a prop for this event on May 4th,
sample, yes,
there had to be a preceding conversation of someone telling her what the committee wanted. Are you telling me that that wasn't you? You didn't communicate with her what she was supposed to do?
Never.
So the conversation that you had with her, what you're telling me is the only conversation that you had with her up until this point is for her to tell you or you to tell her, bring me a sample of what you're doing.
Correct.
And can you tell me approximately what month that was?
It probably was, and I don't have an exact date. It was like late April.
April.
Mm-hmm.
And
most of the communication was with Terry. And
you mean your communication?
Was with Terry, yes.
How many times did you speak to the plaintiff?
Never.
Well, you said you did have one conversation with her in April.
Because I had called to see if I could get a sample because we weren't even sure if I was going to be able to use the prop. So I wanted them to give me one sample.
Okay. How did you get her phone number?
I'm sure probably Terry gave it to me. But when the conversation first took place, the fundraiser, everything that I was doing was running around $13,000, $14,000. And
listen to me.
Okay.
We're not there yet.
Okay.
Right now, I'm trying to see if there's a contract here between you.
There isn't.
And the plaintiff.
No.
Well, you say there isn't. That's what I'm trying to establish, whether or not there existed a contract between you and the plaintiff.
Correct.
So that's really a burden that's on the plaintiff to demonstrate to me that there existed between the two of you a contract, which was an offer and acceptance and some consideration. The consideration here, according to you, is $882, and you have to tell me exactly when this contract was made, if it was orally. I assume...
Correct.
So now you have to tell me when that took place. Exactly. When and where it took place.
It was in a phone call, and it was in early March or the end of February.
Did you call her, or did she call you?
I don't remember exactly, but I probably called her, and then she told me...
And that was after... Shh, just a second. Okay. And that was after your text with Terry.
Yes.
So that you should have a log in your phone of that call.
Yeah, I went back to my phone log, and all I could find was the text messages that were after that. So I don't know why the phone log. I probably have in my phone bill, but I didn't bring the copy of the phone call, but just the emails and the texts that we sent back and forth.
Well, you sent Terry a text.
Yes, and there's a reason for that.
And you texted Terry back and forth. So now you're going to tell me what you allege this February phone call was between you and the defendant.
So she was giving me the kind of her concept and idea about these props that she wanted and how she was going to try to hang them from helium balloons and hang them from the ceiling. So we weren't sure exactly what materials and how it was going to look and if it was going to work. Up with some ideas about how it would work, make a sample for her. We talked about a price range of what usually something about that costs.
No, you're not being specific enough for me.
Okay.
You talked about a price range. What did you tell her?
I told her the price range of something that was similar that I've done before was between $58 and $102 each, depending on how we ended up doing it and the materials and that kind of thing.
Just a second. So you told her between $58 and $102. So one is half as much as the other.
Yes.
And keep going.
And yeah, she said that would be fine. So I said, let me see what's going to work.
What would be fine? 58 or 102?
To keep it within...
I mean, she's planning a charity event.
Right.
She has a certain budget.
Right.
I assume you had a certain budget. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Is that correct, Ms.
Correct.
Rose? So she's trying to keep it within the budget. You're making a contract with her.
Yes.
You don't make a contract between 58 and 102.
Well,
and she says, okay, then there's no contract.
Well, that was until I can figure out what would be the best way to do it. So once I knew what materials I was going to use and, you know, how I was going to produce it and
when
print
did that
it.
happen?
On March 14th, my husband dropped off the sample to her, and she got
Hold on. Did her husband drop off a sample to you?
Yes.
March 14th?
I don't remember
at
the
your
date.
house.
I don't no, at the
Shh.
yes.
Her husband dropped off a sample at your warehouse March 14th.
If that's the day she says,
Okay.
correct, yes.
Right. She has it down, March 14th. Did you see the sample on that day?
Yes.
Did you communicate with her thereafter?
I must have, yes.
That's either a yes or a no. Did you communicate with her thereafter?
I think I communicated with Terry.
Whether you communicated with Terry or not, did you order 10 or 12 of these cutouts?
I ordered them through Terry.
I don't care if you ordered them through Godzilla. You ordered 10 of them after she sent you a sample.
Yes.
And did you make the 10 cutouts?
I made the 10
That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
After she made the 10 cutouts, did you want 2 more? That's a yes or a no?
Yes.
Did she make 2 more?
Yes.
All right. Now we're at a different place.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What is your business?
Party rental, event design.
Okay. You did this event for this charity for money. Just follow what I'm saying to you. Are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Event planner Maricela Reyes never paid for props she created for a police fundraiser.
Now we're at a place where she doesn't have to even show me her phone because the work was performed and you accepted the labor of that work. So your answer when it says, I don't know her anything, I never even met her.
Correct.
Well, I don't care whether you met her or not. If I order something through Amazon and they send me 6 bottles of Listerine and I don't pay for it because I said, I never met the people who make Listerine.
Okay, well...
you ordered it.
Okay.
You commissioned it to be done. So I am presuming, for the purposes of this questioning, that you did have a preliminary discussion with her about what your creative process was with regard to this event and how she could fit in with that process by creating these props. In addition to what else you were doing. So you did have a conversation. Pursuant to that conversation, she did make you a sample. You saw the sample. You ordered 10 of them. You realized you wanted 2 more. You ordered 2 more. So, Miss Reyes, they have to be paid for. Now it's up to you to tell me the price. What price you ultimately came up with between 58 and 102.
The final price on the final invoice that I sent her a couple days before the event.
Was for how much? For each cutout.
There's 2 different versions, and so one was $70 each and one was $102 each. And so I did have to modify it when it was 12, and then I discounted it 20% because I knew she was also donating it from her end.
Okay, well, I'm going to make this easy because I think that you have to get paid for what you did.
But what I was trying to explain, what I was trying to explain, when we sat in the meeting with the committee, they sat at my office, they were offering me very little money. The total bill was $12,000, $13,000, and I wanted to get more money, and they said, we cannot get more money. And I said, I still have to buy these props, I still have to buy these gobos, I still got to buy jewelry and all this other stuff. Terry then says, don't worry about the cutouts. I could get the cutouts for you.
You can't tell me what Terry said. Listen to me. You're in business. You're in business.
But I
right?
never talked to her.
Just a second.
We never talked about price. I never received a billing from her, an invoice or anything. So I never got the invoice. If she said she had a conversation with me.
You did this event for this charity. Follow what I'm saying to you. Are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
She made money. It is unreasonable for her to make money and for you to make nothing. So we're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Renee Roberts is accusing event planner Maricela Reyes of failing to pay for props she created for a police fundraiser.
Now, are you telling me that you donated your time and the materials?
Absolutely. I donated out of $13,000, $9,000 of that was donations from me. So my whole objective is, how can I make this event look fabulous without spending as least amount of money? Because I still had labor. I still had to buy other product. I was already communicating.
Ms. Reyes, we're not going to be able to come to a resolution in this case unless we cut out the baloney. What is your business?
I am an event designer.
What is your business?
Party rental, event design.
Okay. No, just a second. You are an event designer. That is your business. What is the name of your company?
Pro Prep Events.
And with
and robbers.
Law enforcement?
Right.
Is this the first year that you're doing it?
Nope, 3rd year.
How many other events does your company do for charity during the year?
Probably about three large.
How many? Very easy. You're a company. We can look up your records.
Right.
How many events does your company do for charity each year?
3.
3 large ones. And how many small ones?
High schools, I don't know, maybe about 10.
And what are the 3 large ones?
I do it for another Indian organization for battered Indian women, and then I do the cops and robbers, and then I do one for Morgan Hill for the volunteers, just people that volunteer in our small town.
And you do them for high school?
High school all the time.
Do you ever do events for private people?
Absolutely. That's mostly what I do.
What kind of events do you do for private people?
Weddings, any celebration, any milestone celebration.
So this is your business?
This is my business.
You are an event?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm an event designer.
This is your business. You are an event planner.
Correct.
This is your business.
Correct.
They give you a budget to plan the event.
Absolutely.
That's what happens. They give you what you're telling me is that you were under the impression that these props were going to be donated by the plaintiff. That's what you're telling me.
Just like the Gobles were donated, just like everything else was donated to my company.
No, not your time.
It's not my time. It's also other products. So this person, Terry,
Ms.
also
Reyes.
volunteered Gobos. Gobos
I
is
don't care what
and I
she
never got a
did.
bill for that either. So I'm assuming that these weren't being billed.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay. $696 is 58 times 12. Is that what you delivered to her? 12?
12, but they
12 props?
They were more than that,
12.
but yes.
But
well, I don't care.
So I have another thing.
If you have any proof, don't speak. If you have any proof to me of the exact amount, then that is more of a contract than what you can sue on here, which is really work performed, or what they call quantum merit, which she made a little money. If she pays you, she makes a little less money, is really what it comes down to. So if she's dealing with a charity, she gets a lot of people to donate stuff, and she thinks a lot of people are going to donate stuff, and instead of making $3,000 on this, she's going to have to make $2,500 on this one, because you did, in fact, do work, which she used. She approved the initial prop that you sent. She used the 10 that were ordered. She said, I really could use 2 more. And she communicated that to you. You made the 2 more. She used the 2 more. She made money. It is unreasonable for her to make money and for you to make nothing. So I'm not giving you anywhere near the higher figure you're looking for. But you are entitled to something for your effort. And you said the low end was 58, the high was 102.
Yeah.
That comes to $696. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're finished.
Case is completed. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy.
She called the police 7 times on me, terrorizing me. I need therapy after dealing with this female. I didn't do anything wrong.
It's time to stop. It's time to stop.
Judge Judy.
Well, I think it's
because I never communicated. She never called me.
And also, her company was listed as one of the largest sponsors, so she got a lot of credit.
We never talked price, so she lied in court. She literally went out and lied.
For donating it. So I wasn't listed as a sponsor. She was listed as a sponsor. She donated it. She's got to pay up.
And the extra 2 ones, I didn't order them. They ordered them. Everything was for the committee.
She ordered them, and I thought it was the start of a working together situation. But
so just because Terry goes, we have 2 more tables, I go, that means you need 2 more props. That's what they ordered.
I don't think we'll be working together anymore.
She just stood in court and lied, and that's it.
Pay your bills. You order it up, you got to pay for it.
No, just very disappointed. Very disappointed.
They each paid cold, hard cash.
We reduced rates ski passes.
$500 to ski all year round. They're usually around $1,000.
Then it all went downhill fast.
And the ski passes turned out to be fraudulent.
Yes.
We are all in the same exact position.
No, you're not. You have to find the person.
This is Judge Judy. Victoria Vieman, Jonathan Friedland, and Nicholas Shore are suing Vanessa de Blasio for selling them fraudulent ski passes.
Judge, this is case number 109 on the calendar in the matter of Vieman, Friedland, Shaw versus de Blasio. Parties have been sworn in. Have a seat, please.
Miss Vieman, are you going to speak for the three of you?
I'm going to do my best, yes. And they're going to chime in.
Well, no, they won't chime in. Nobody chimes in here. We don't just hop in. We just have a spokesperson for a group. It's tidier that way. And
Agreed.
from what I gather, you had most of the contact with the defendant. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So prior to your interaction with her over these friends and family reduced rate ski passes, I gather that you did not know the defendant.
Not personally, no. I met the defendant through a coworker.
You met her personally through a coworker or over the internet?
Over the internet, yes. It was back in May when we were all socially distanced.
Is today the first day you met her in person?
That's correct.
So all of your other dealings with her had been over the internet?
Correct.
Through a coworker who somehow had interactions with her. And this is what your case is about. Miss de Blasio said that she could secure discount rate friends and family ski passes. And your other two friends ski as well. Where do you ski?
Well, we ski all over California, but our home base, per se, is Mammoth Mountain.
Okay, and what are the name of these ski passes?
They're called Icon, and we're all returning pass holders for Icon, so we know the pass very well.
How much is the usual rate for an annual pass? You bought annual passes, correct?
That's correct, for the season. And they're usually around $1,000.
Per ticket?
Per season pass, correct.
How much was the defendant offering to sell them for?
$500 for no blackout dates, which means that you can ski any day of the year, including holidays, and then $400 for blackout dates, which means you cannot ski for the holidays.
Well, so that's a pretty good deal. That's a 50% reduction.
That's right, yes.
Or more, if
yes.
you decide to give up holidays.
Exactly.
What did you choose?
$500 to ski all year round.
And what about your two friends?
Likewise. Both Jonathan Friedland and Nick Shore paid Vanessa for $500, and then Matt Miwa, who couldn't be here with us today, chose $400 with blackout dates.
Okay, well, he's not here today.
That's right.
Is that correct, gentlemen, that each of you paid the defendant $500 for a year-round ski pass that did not exclude?
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
How did you make your payment to the defendant?
I paid Victoria via Venmo, and then she transferred that money to Vanessa.
And then I paid Vanessa directly through Zelle.
Vanessa is Mr. Blasio.
Yes.
And how did you pay the $1,000?
Through Zelle, Bank of America. I first Zelled or wired Vanessa, the defendant, $500.
And what about?
Yes. So first on June 3rd.
For you?
Yes, because I realized that it had been legit. It was a correct process.
Just a second.
Okay.
You sent her yours.
Yes.
Then he sent you, what is his name?
Jonathan.
What's your name, sir?
Jonathan.
Jonathan. Jonathan, you sent Miss Vieman your $500.
Yes, that's correct.
And she sent it to the defendant.
Correct.
Via Zelle. Correct, Miss Vieman?
Correct, Your Honor.
And did you send it to Miss de Blasio's a personal account? How did you address it when you sent it to her?
The description, you mean, Your Honor?
Yes. Does it have her name on the account?
Yes, it does. Yes. It has her name, her phone number. I can show it to you right here if you'd like.
I'd like to see it.
Yes. Right here. Name, phone number, June 4th.
Vanessa, is that your phone number?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So you received from these three people to your name and your account $1,500. Is that correct?
Not from the three people, only from two. That was $1,500. I never received any money from Jonathan directly.
I don't care whether you received it directly or from these three people, you received $1,500.
No.
For 3 ski passes.
No.
Well, she sent you money from Jonathan.
Correct.
But from these 3 people in total, you received $1,500.
Yes, Your Honor.
And what they were purchasing were Icon ski passes.
That's right.
And the Icon ski passes turned out to be fraudulent.
Yes.
Were each of you notified that the Icon ski passes were fakes?
Yes, Your Honor. We all three got this fraudulent email.
Okay, now, so you're out $1,500 and you have no passes.
That's right.
And the money was forwarded to you, and they have no ski passes. And your defense is that you were duped just like they were.
Yes, Your Honor. We are all in the same exact position.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Passes. If you were a dope that got duped, go sue somebody.
So
if you were a dope that got duped, go sue, go find the person who duped you.
He disappeared, Your Honor.
I'm going to repeat that one more time. You go find the guy that duped you right now. They got duped by you.
That's not
true,
Your Honor.
They sent you money.
That's not true, Your Honor.
They sent you money. Yes, they did. They said, we just got through that.
Your Honor,
they
that's
sent
not
it
true.
to your bank. No, that is true. That's 100% true.
With all due respect, Your Honor,
they sent
no,
to your
it's
bank.
not.
Are you disputing what they just showed me?
I am disputing the context in which she agreed to send over money.
Really?
Yes.
You're disputing the context.
Correct. I did not.
Go. 3 minutes. You have 3 minutes to context.
Absolutely.
She sent you money. Go.
Okay. So when she reached out to me via Facebook. The original post I do have here if you want to see it. It states in the...
I don't.
Okay. It states...
I don't. I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to see it, and don't tell me what it states.
Okay.
What I'm telling you is you have to go find the person that duped you if you were a dope that got duped. They sent you money. See you. You go find the person who disappeared that duped you. Meanwhile, they sent you money. You have to return their money. It gives you a greater incentive to go find
With all due respect, Your Honor, you said that I had 3 minutes.
In the amount of $1,500.
You said I had 3 minutes to
done.
talk, and then you didn't give it to me.
We're done.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
Unfortunately, I guess we live in a time where people don't have to take responsibility for the adult decisions that they make.
We knew exactly what we were paying for. She just got duped, just like Judge Judy said.
Lesson learned.
I really thought it was a good deal, and I've gotten college discount passes before where they were discounted, and I thought this was one of those deals.
Mine was also fraudulent.
Icon Pass basically sent us an email stating it was a fraudulent purchase with a fraudulent credit card.
We all got the same email.
We're really thankful that after 7 months of just our heads spinning with this crazy story, we're able to kind of put it to bed.
We were all scammed.
I'm just super thrilled with Judge Judy's decision, and I'm ready to get out there and shred.
Just be careful with you, Kai.
Ready to get on the mountain, right, boys?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Lloyd versus Lloyd, step forward.
18-year-old Cody Lloyd is suing his father, Randall Lloyd, for the value of a car he sold illegally.
Tell me your first name.
Cody?
Cody, you are... I don't think you lived with your father all your life. Is that correct?
No. He was a weekend dad. He was a weekend dad until I moved in with him permanently on August 14th.
Of 2013?
2011.
2011. But you were a working kid, saved up some money, enough money to buy a car.
Yes.
And you weren't 18 yet, so you couldn't have the car titled solely in your name. I don't think your father disputes any of those facts. You spent your money. It was money that you earned from work.
Yes.
What kind of a car did you purchase?
It was a 2001 Lexus ES 300.
Did you go with your dad to find it?
It was just on the corner outside of our house. It was for sale on the corner outside of a busy street. And I just saw it one day coming in, and I wanted to buy it, yes.
How much did you pay for it?
$4,200.
And you had that money in a bank?
Yes.
What kind of work had you done to save up that money?
I worked for insulated pipe shields for about a year and a half.
Graduate from high school?
Yes.
Go on to school after that?
I go to Folsom Lake College right now.
Great. So this is what the case is about. You went to live with your father in 2011, purchased this car with your own money. Your father, for some reason, was out of town, and according to your father, you invited some friends over who sadly trashed your house.
Yes.
At that time, your father was very disappointed in you, and instead of turning the car over to you when you back, where's the car?
Sold the car.
When did you sell it? And show me proof that you sold it.
I don't have proof. I got rid of the car a couple weeks ago.
You know, I don't believe you. And I'm telling you right now, Mr. Lloyd, before we even start, because you said that to me, I don't even think I like you.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Well, as somebody who's raised a lot of children, one thing I know is every time you go away and there is a free house, there is a party.
And later today,
Other than the plaintiff, who else lives there?
A single girl lives above the plaintiff.
And has she paid her rent consistently during the pandemic?
Yes, Your Honor.
You're very lucky.
Cody Lloyd says his father, Randall Lloyd, illegally sold his vehicle. Randall is countersuing for damage to his home caused during a party thrown by Cody.
At some point, you knew that your son wanted his car. If I believed that you sold it, then you're just a nasty, vicious man. So I don't know who you think you're getting over on, but it sure isn't me. How many children does your father have, Cody?
3.
3. Are you the oldest, youngest?
I'm in the middle.
Do any of his other children live with him?
My sister Kelly, she's my twin. She lives in Orville.
So one child lives with him.
Mm-hmm.
And how long has that child lived with him?
Ever since I've been there, since August 14th.
Well, as somebody who's raised a lot of children, one thing I know is every time you go away and there is a free house, there is a party. Now, sometimes those parties get out of hand, but that doesn't mean, Mr. Lloyd, that you can't steal your son's property. Wasn't your money that purchased the car? Wasn't your car to sell. Your name may have been on the car just for the purposes of convenience until he turned 18. You had no right to sell it. You had no right to use it in any way. None at all. Now, if I can't return the car to him because I have no power to do that, because I have a feeling that whatever I say you're going to have an answer for, I'm going to award him the money that he paid for it, which is $4,200. But I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, Mr. Lloyd, because it's the only way that I can actually punish you. You have a counterclaim for thousands of dollars for the destruction of your home. I'm dismissing it. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $4,200. The counterclaim's dismissed. Thank you, that's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
It was graduation night. I just wanted to have a couple friends over. It got out of hand.
He passed out, and there was like over 100 people, and he didn't know but a few of them.
I cleaned up what I could before I fell asleep. Bad, everything like that happened. I wish just a couple people came over and that was it.
Tough love, yeah.
I don't want to sound cold, but not trusting anybody, I don't know. That sounds evil.
Don't leave your kids at home alone.
All parties in the matter of Nielsen versus LaHome. Step to the podium, please.
Alexander Nielsen is suing his former landlord, Mary LaHome, for wrongfully withholding his security deposit.
Mr. Nielsen, you were a tenant of the defendants for almost 2 years, according to your complaint. When COVID struck, according to you, you had a conversation with, either in person or by text, and indicated to her that you could not continue to pay the rent that you were paying, which was $2,000 a month. According to you, the defendant agreed, because of your work situation and the pandemic, to reduce your rent to $1,500 a month, which you did for 2 months. And then you realized that financially you could no longer afford to pay rent. I assume you either went to stay with family, or you'll tell me in a moment. And the defendant kept your security deposit. She says the security deposit was for the difference between the $2,000 a month rent you were supposed to pay and the $1,500 that you actually did pay, and that there was able to pay a reduced rent because of the pandemic. How many apartments do you have?
Just the one building, there's 3 apartments in there.
Are they all rented?
Yes.
Other than the plaintiff, who else lives there?
A single girl lives above the plaintiff. And then...
Just a second, what's her rent?
Her rent is $29.50, but it's a 2-bedroom apartment.
And has she paid her rent consistently during the pandemic?
Yes, Your Honor.
And who was the other tenant that you
The
have?
other tenant is on the top floor. It's another 2-bedroom. It's a husband and wife, and they have paid their rent consistently.
You're very lucky.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
You agreed to reduce his rent. You say, yes, but there were conditions. I'd like to see your proof of conditions.
Unfortunately, all my text messages have completely dropped off my phone.
Well, that's unfortunate.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Alexander Nielsen is suing his former landlord, Mary LaHome, for wrongfully withholding his security deposit.
No.
Would you please tell me, Mr. Nielsen, on what date did you advise the defendant you do?
I do digital design modeling in the automotive industry.
Do you work for someone or yourself?
I work for someone.
Were your hours reduced by the company during the pandemic?
Yes.
How long have you worked for this company?
About 4 years.
And your work hours went from what to what?
They went from a bit of overtime to actually regular time.
So you lost your overtime?
Primarily, yes.
You were lucky.
I am.
Are you still working for the company?
Yes.
Where did you move to when you left the defendants?
I'm staying at family's place.
Would you tell me about the date and the conversation that you had with the defendant about reducing your rent because your work hours had been reduced?
Sure. Yeah, it was end of May, and I had reached out stating that due to the pandemic and my circumstances, as you've noted so already, that it wasn't viable for me to continue to stay at the $2,000 a month rent. And I'm very appreciative that I've, been able to stay here, and I like the place. I don't have any complaints with anything, but I can't continue to pay at this full price. And I asked if it was feasible to reduce the rent to $1,500 a month for a few months, and that was my ask of the landlord, and she explicitly agreed via text to that.
May I see the texts?
Sure.
Unless you don't dispute that you agreed to reduce his rent to $1,500 a month for a couple of months. In the texts.
Yes, but I had conditions, and one condition was...
Okay, well, just a second. I'll hear you if you say yes, but there were conditions. I'll see them in the text.
So the message that she sent was June 3rd. The months for the reduced rent were June and July.
June 3rd, okay, for 2 months. Okay, $1,500 for 2 months. I have to see the email, the text right before that. Where are the texts right before that?
I have that on my phone, I believe. I don't know if that one is.
Sure. Well, I need it right before that, but that's just a statement.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by... Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay.
Are you able to see if I put the phone? I don't think I have the one prior written. I have it in the text on my phone. Is that okay?
Do you have it on your phone? You can look on your phone, sir. Yes, of course.
Okay. So the message immediately before the $1,500 for 2 months.
You can put it up there, and I can read it,
Great.
sir. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Sure.
Okay, Miss Loam, that is crystal clear that you agreed to reduce his rent for 2 months to $1,500. Now you say yes, but there were conditions. I'd like to see your proof of conditions.
Unfortunately, all my text messages to Alex and from Alex have completely dropped off my phone. I took my phone.
That's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. You owe him $1,000. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much.
Case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy. Divorce kills a catered party.
I don't have the complete contract.
Because it wasn't your contract.
There's a little bit of a story here.
I know you want to make it a story. This is a contract.
Judge Judy.
Well, I'm very disappointed. She didn't give me a chance to give my side of the story at all.
I think she's incredibly clear-headed and very concise in her interpretation and judgment.
I asked for documentation, that he would get me some pay stubs, some sort of evidence, which he never did.
She asked, and I provided her with information which she just claimed she didn't receive.
He was having a, financial hardship.
I mean, if I was financially capable of paying a reduced rent, I felt like that was the moral thing to do.
It's rented out.
I'm glad it's over.
How did you find each other?
It was through a dating app.
I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift.
Charmed out of her money?
He gave him a credit card. He thinks he's adorable. He probably has done this sort of thing before.
But the judge doesn't like what she sees.
Then you gave him another card. I know he thinks he's an attractive guy, but you're a smart lady. That's not smart.
My bad.
This is Judge Judy. Julie Bossert is suing Manny Baker for unauthorized credit card charges and the return of property.
Judge, this is case number 107 on the calendar in the matter of Bossard versus Baker. Parties have been sworn in.
Thank you, Bird. Mr. Baker, I'm going to start with you, sir.
Yes.
You met the plaintiff online, is that right?
Correct.
How?
Through a series of messages. We messaged each other. I was working in her neck of the woods.
Well, how did you message each other? How did you find each other? That had to be a site
it was through a dating app.
What app?
Plenty of Fish.
Connect on this dating app.
I think it was March 2020.
And how far away did you live from each other?
I'm about 300 miles.
When, for the first time, did you meet in person?
I don't have the exact date, but it was late March, probably March 20th-ish.
Did you go to where she resided, or did she come to where you resided?
Actually, she was a hairstylist, and during COVID, haircuts were illegal. And my haircut was getting quite long, and she said, I'd give you a cut if you wanted to come over to my salon. So I went to her salon, and
well, that's 300 miles, sir.
Oh no, I was working. I was
asking you.
I was working in the area at the time.
Oh.
Yep.
What kind of work do you do?
At that time, I was selling walk-through bathtubs. Sales, in-home sales.
Well, you were now 300 miles away from your home. Where were you staying?
I stayed, there was an Airbnb in Spokane that was probably 20 minutes from Post Falls, where Julie lived, where the hair salon was.
How long did you stay at this Airbnb?
February 1st to, I used it, I still use it, I still go there. I've been using it. The first time I went there was February 1st of 2020.
So that you use it for what purpose? For
certain appointments that I have to be on throughout the state of Washington, Idaho, and Oregon.
For selling?
Yes, ma'am.
Through bathtubs?
Yes, ma'am.
So you work for a company?
Yep. In-home sales.
What's the name of the company?
Safe Step.
Are you a salaried or a commissioned employee?
Commission only.
How long have you been with them?
I started January 1st, did training. Actually, might have even been right at January 1st. I think I was out of training around January 11th.
What were you doing before that?
I'm a general contractor by trade, and definitely preferred the in-home sales side of it. When I get into someone's home, it's just second nature to me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Then it's way more lucrative.
Prior to that, you were in general contracting. Did you work for somebody else, or did you do that yourself?
Mostly self-employed since right out of high school.
How old are you?
49.
Well, you're a grown-up, sir. You're almost a half a century old. So you were doing, until January of this year, you were doing what?
We would do...
Until you got this training job with walk-through bathtubs.
Right.
You were doing what to support yourself?
We were doing large remodels.
Were you ever...
Bathrooms.
Who was we?
Me and a team of guys, some old ones.
Have you ever been married?
I was.
Do you have children?
2 boys.
How old?
25 and 23.
Did you live with them when they were growing up?
I would never be apart from them. They were my everything.
That's not my question. I said, did you live with them when they were growing up? Is your former wife the mother of those children?
Yes.
And when were you divorced?
It was legal in 2011.
Well, you say it was legal. That means that you were separated prior to 2011.
Correct. It started in 2009, but we had a $5.5 million bankruptcy that we had to file, and that took a few years to get accomplished.
During that time, did you live together from 2009 till 2011?
2010 is when I moved from the home.
Did the boys stay in the home?
They did.
So that one boy was 13 and one boy was 15?
Correct.
And they lived with their mother?
Right.
Okay. Now, what kind of business were you in that involved, I assume, personal $5 million bankruptcy?
We were a developer and general contractor. We had 70 lots, 18.
Who's we?
Me and my wife.
And were you relieved of debt in the bank?
Yes. There was still some debt that I felt that I still owe even after the bankruptcy.
What did you use the plaintiff's credit card for? She gave you, shortly after you met, a credit card that had a zero balance.
Right.
What did you use it for? Because you were the sole person who used it.
Correct.
What did you use it for?
We used it for a few supplies, and Julie did give me one card. Then she took that card back to do another card that had a $10,000 balance on it. And so I paid off the first card that she had given me. She paid it. I paid her to pay it.
What did you put on that card?
We bought supplies.
What did you put on the first card?
Supplies.
Supplies for what?
For a job.
For what?
That we currently had going on in the city of Newport, Washington. There was a small amount of supplies.
Shh. You mean you and the plaintiff?
No, that was just me.
So you bought supplies for your own business.
Correct.
For your own business.
Right.
Not walk through bathtubs on commission. You were doing a side job, something else, with your own business having nothing to do with her, and you used her credit card for some supplies. How much?
How 100.
Did you pay it off that card?
I did pay off that card.
Did he pay off that card?
I made a decision to take money he gave me to pay off that card, along with other money he gave me to put towards the other card.
Okay, so he gave you money and you paid off that card.
Correct.
Then you gave him another card. In what month?
Well, it was
what month?
It was the same month. My bad.
Well, tell me what month.
May.
So you met in March, the end of March, and by May, when you met, according to you, you said wasn't a romantic thing for either one or both of you. I'm not so sure about you, but I could tell you for sure about him. It wasn't a romantic thing for him. So at some point, what kind of work do you do, by the way?
I'm a salon owner, and I still work behind the chair.
So you work hard for your money?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
assume.
I've had my business for 20 years.
Now, I know he thinks he's an attractive guy, but, you know, you're a smart lady. If you're a business owner for 20 years, you're a smart lady. You meet a guy the end of March, and by May, you're giving him a credit card. That's not smart.
Well, there were prior things that happened to me giving him the card. I was under the impression that we were going into the sewer business together. And as a part of doing business, supplies...
Why in the world would you want to go into this that you met online, that came for a haircut, and a couple of weeks later said, I need a credit card because I'll go into business with you. Right now, I just finished my training in walk-through bathtub sales. I've been through a bankruptcy, a $5 million bankruptcy with my ex-wife who had a business. Why would a smart lady who's run a business for 20 years give a credit card to anybody? You know that I have children who I love. I have grandchildren that I love more than life. I will give them anything they want except a credit card of mine. A finite amount of money? You want $500? Tell me what it's for, it's yours. You need more? Tell me what it's for. It's yours. If it's reasonable. I wouldn't give somebody a credit card. You give some stranger who you know nothing about, and you're a business gal. I'm a hardworking business guy. I don't understand it. So you're going to have to explain it to me, because according to you, you gave him a credit card. You know, he thinks he's adorable. He probably has done this sort of thing before. I assume he has over the last 10 years or even more when he was married. I'm not exactly sure about that. But I guarantee you, he thinks he's God's gift. Guy that didn't think that about himself would ask somebody and use their credit card and then stiff them, which is what you did. Which is what you did.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Did you pay off everything that you bought and still own?
Technically, no.
What does technically mean?
I literally made payments, and I've spent $5,500.
Who cares what you spent?
And later today.
How do you support yourself?
Right now, I'm not.
What does that mean? Right now?
I'm under a lot of stress right now. I'm trying to regroup.
I'm getting more stressed by the minute.
Julie Bossard is suing Manny Baker for unauthorized credit card charges and the return of property.
Now, you used her credit card, and then you stiffed her. That's what you say.
Not true.
So in order to do that, you really have to... Really? Not? Did you use her credit card and buy equipment?
Oh, I made payments.
Did you buy equipment?
I did, and I made payments.
Did you pay off... Just a second. Did you pay off everything that you bought and still own and still have possession of? Very easy question. Did you pay off everything that was purchased that you still have possession of?
I literally made payments, and I've spent $5,500 on replacing the tractor.
Who cares what you spent? I don't care about a tractor trailer. She bought a tractor trailer. You weren't in business with her. She got annoyed that you hadn't paid the credit card. She took back the tractor trailer that was in her name. So I don't care.
Okay.
You used the tractor trailer while you had it. Who cares? What I'm asking you, sir, is do you have equipment in your possession that was purchased on her credit card?
I do.
That you didn't pay for?
I do.
You do?
Yep.
She's going to get it all back. I'm going to sign an order for a marshal to come and get the following equipment. Read it out.
The following equipment.
What equipment is going to be picked up with the aid of a marshal?
It is a jetter and a sewer camera.
How much was it just for my jetter and sewer camera?
The Seattle pump was $2108.25, and the camera was $3423.80.
Well, that's $5,000 worth of stuff, $5,600 worth of stuff.
Correct.
Great. Where is it located?
City of Sumner.
What facility?
My home base. My home.
What facility? It has a name.
Well, we call
Apex
it
Storage.
Address.
Is this equipment at your residence? I have
is.
to give the marshal a location to pick it up.
1 Valley Avenue East.
Is that where he lives?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll have a marshal's order. Judgment for the plaintiff. Thank you very much. We're done. Bye.
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
There was an agreement that we had made.
I put my trust into somebody that had no intention of protecting me at all whatsoever.
She simply bowed out of the agreement and left me kind of out in the middle of nowhere.
So his focus was on anything but our business.
This is icing on the cake for her.
He never continued on with the business to pursue it.
I see her point of view.
He was on to pole barns. He was wanting me to give him $20,000 for property to invest in a wedding venue.
We certainly had a lot of conversations.
I get up every day and I work really hard for my money.
She is a hard worker. She's done well for herself, and wish her nothing but the best.
Oh, I'm just going to keep on. This is 1 out of 4 with him.
And now, the next case.
All parties in the matter of Labrie versus Taub, step forward.
Sandra Nicole Labrie is suing her former roommate, Jonathan Taub, for the return of her property, motel bills, and punitive damages due to a false arrest.
Miss Labrie, what could you look down here? Look right here. What
I'm
kind
an
of work
artist,
do you do?
Entertainment, music, and
You're
I do
an
side
artist in
catering.
entertainment and music.
Yes, and I.
Where do you work?
I do side catering.
You do side catering. What does that mean?
Side catering means like if a person need me to cook them anything, I can prepare a dish for them.
How do you support yourself?
Right now, I'm not.
What does that
under
mean?
a lot of
Right now,
stress. I'm under a lot of stress right now. I'm trying to
Me too.
regroup.
I'm getting more stressed by the minute.
I'm trying to regroup my life.
Great.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
That night, when the police came, she said, while you're at work, I'm having sex with all kinds of guys, and I have $30,000 in the bank, and I'm not going to pay you a dime. Ha ha.
How did you know her?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Sandra Nicole Labrie says former roommate Jonathan Taub won't return her property. She is also suing for motel bills and a false arrest.
I want to know how you support yourself.
Friends.
Friends.
Family and friends.
Family and friends.
Okay.
And where do you live? In what jurisdiction do you live?
Right now, I'm living in Century City.
Century City?
Yes.
That's friends.
Well, I had savings.
What kind of work do you do, Mr. Taub?
Swimming pool, pumps, motors, equipment.
What does that mean, swimming pool, pumps, motors, equipment?
I repair them, install them.
You have a company?
Yeah, I work for...
No. You have a company.
Yes. I work for other people, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm self-employed for
What's
many
the name
people.
of your company?
Jonathan's Pool Service.
And are you a corporation?
No. Sole proprietorship.
So people pay you in cash?
No. Like management companies, things like that. I have a website, Google, 1099. Once in a while I might get paid in cash, but it's 1099 most of it.
Okay, this is your claim. He took you in as a roommate.
Yes.
You were supposed to pay rent.
Yes.
He came up short most of the time on your rent. That's what he says. You came up short on your rent.
I don't think so.
At some point, according to you, you had a disagreement with him. You had to go to the hospital and spend 3 days in the hospital because you had an asthma attack.
Yes.
And then when you came out of the hospital, he had taken all of your stuff, put it in storage, locked you out. The police, according to you, told you could break into the house, right?
Yes.
Police said you can break in through the glass door in the back.
They weren't getting into it.
No, according to you, the police, what you
Yes.
say here. And so you broke into the house, then there was a big argument because he came home, found you in the house. What?
I called the locksmith right here, a locksmith.
Yes.
The police said they weren't getting involved. It was a civil matter. Do
Yes.
whatever I had to do. So I called the locksmith.
Yeah.
Because I was like from a hospital bed to a jail cell the same day.
Okay. When he came home, he found you in the house. There was an altercation. The police were called. He told the police that you had slapped him. You were taken to jail. You were ultimately released a couple of days later. So you're suing for a host of things, $5,000 for stolen property, for your motel bills, for punitive damages due to false arrest.
Yes.
And you say she didn't pay rent.
Yes. The thing, I had to press charges because if I left her there, she might damage my property. If I were to stay there, she kept taunting me.
How was she taunting you?
That night, when the police came, she said, while you're at work, I'm having sex with all kinds of guys, and I have $30,000 in the bank, and I'm not going to pay you a dime. Ha ha.
How did you know her? Let's go back for
How'd I
one
meet her?
second. Yeah, how'd you meet her? And when?
Years ago.
Years ago, where?
Online, probably Craigslist.
Okay.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Does she have her stuff back now?
I put everything in storage.
Does she have her stuff back now is my question.
I don't know. I haven't been in storage.
Is her stuff in storage?
Yes.
Great. And you haven't been there because
I'm locked out.
Listen to me. Try to clear your mind for a second. Have you been there?
Yes.
And you can't get in?
I can't.
Great. Well, he's going to let you in. You can take all your stuff.
No, she's lying. I saw
No, just
she was in there.
Just a second. You're going to let her in. You just told me her stuff was in storage. You're going to let her into storage.
She
take
has
her
the
stuff. Do you understand what I'm saying
Yeah.
to you? Follow my words. I don't believe either one of you, actually, so I'm going to get rid of this case very fast. Do you know why I don't believe either one of you? Because you're both full of baloney.
No,
so
I'll
listen to me very carefully. If you told me her stuff is in storage, then she's going to go and get her stuff from storage. And then the case is over. You don't have a counterclaim. He's not responsible for your motel bill.
Your Honor.
He's not responsible for your motel bill.
I can't get in storage because it's past due.
Bye.
Really?
Really?
I'll just excuse you and step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Her mother-in-law stands behind her son.
She haven't filed for the divorce, and she's not. I will, as soon as I get home. I left the house due to domestic violence.
Judge Judy.
I probably would have let her stay there. She just said, hey, I don't have the money. Can you help me out?
Oh, God, I paid him rent.
But she wasn't like that. She was taunting me.
He owed me, for damaging my property, $20 grand.
If you're a good little boy, maybe I'll pay you the rent. Hey, can you clean my toilet?
He stole my asthma inhaler.
I didn't take her medication, but...
Well, he was hoping I would die.
I'll admit I was hoping at one point that she would die because I was angry.
And I just don't want to discuss it.
I just learned probably what it's like to be married, you know? No sex and lots of money out of your pocket.
We believe that there was intentional fraud.
Listen to me. I don't care what you believe.
A first-time homebuyer has second thoughts.
Your family moved in and you started to have plumbing problems right away.
Right away. That's correct, Your Honor.
And thousands of dollars go down the drain.
This is not normal.
Did you have an inspection of the house before you purchased it?
I did, and they did not inspect the problem.
That would...
Is Judge Judy. 24-year-old Joshua Vasily is suing Nathaniel Combs for the fraudulent sale of a home.
Judge, this is case number 143 on the calendar in the matter of Vasily versus Combs. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated.
Thank you, Bert. Mr. Vasily, you and your family purchased a home from the defendant.
That's correct.
And you, at at this point, want to stay in the home, but claim that he sold you a home that was defective to the extent that he was required to notify you of the defect. And so at this point, you want him to pay some of, if not all of, the expenses to fix the plumbing in the house. That's what your case is about.
Yes, it's somewhere
so
around...
I have a few. I didn't ask you. No, listen to me. I didn't ask you a question.
Absolutely.
Mr. Combs, when did you purchase your home, the home that you sold to him?
October of 2017.
And who lived in the home?
My wife and 2 kids.
How old are the children?
Now they're 4 and 8.
When did you sell the plaintiff the house?
I believe we closed on June 30th of 2020.
And when did you put the house up for sale?
I don't remember the exact date. It was approximately...
Okay. Just one second. What's the address of the house, sir?
Tanglewood.
And what city?
Tehachapi, California.
What did you pay for the house, Mr. Vasily?
I believe we paid $289.
Not believe.
Purchase price to be $290,000.
$280,000 what we ended up paying.
$280,000 is the final price that we ended up paying.
$280.
Yes, that's correct.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, it sold on 6/29/2020, according to Trustee Zillow.
$220,000, Your Honor, just to make sure.
Don't. What? 220.
Did you? I'm sorry, I did not hear. Was it 220,000 that Zillow reports?
No.
Okay.
I said
I apologize.
It closed on June 29th.
Got it. Understood.
And it was listed in May of 2020 for $295. So you bought it for $280. You bought it for $15,000 less than the ask.
Yes,
Is that
thankfully.
correct, sir?
Yes, that's correct.
I don't want any editorializing.
Okay.
You bought it for $15,000 less than the ask.
Yes.
So that was a negotiated price.
Yes. There's a reason why it was $15,000 less. And it pertains to the case. Can I explain, or is this not a good time?
This would not be a good time.
I believe it was
Mr.
Nathaniel.
Combs?
Oh.
No, who did you buy the house from, Mr. Combs?
I don't know the family that owned it prior to us, ma'am.
Well, the reason I'm asking is that it was sold prior to you purchasing it in November of 2017, because you were the immediate owner prior to this sale. You purchased the house for $242.
Yes, ma'am.
And the person that you bought it from only had the house for a few months, maybe 5 months. So they must have bought the house. No, actually, they listed it in February of 2016. Then they removed the listing. They finally sold it in April of 2016 because they upped the price and made a couple of bucks on it because they paid $217 and you bought it for $242. Did you move within the community?
No, we moved from out of town into Tehachapi.
No. When you sold the house to Mr. Vasily, did you move within the same community?
No, we moved approximately 100 miles away.
After you sold the house?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, if you moved 100 miles away, your 8-year-old was in school.
The sale was during the summer. School was out.
The sale was done June 29th. The one who's 8, is that a boy? Oh, your daughter went to school. Now, did your daughter go to school at Tanglewood Drive?
Yes, she did.
That year?
Yes.
Until when?
I believe the school year ended early due to COVID. I do not remember the exact date.
Give me the month.
It was most likely May.
No, not most likely. I want you to think. You moved, which is an event, in June.
Yes, ma'am.
We're not talking so far away. We're talking about this year, 2020. You look like a relatively young man, so that your memory is probably much better than mine. And you only had one school-age child.
Yes.
One may have gone to preschool, but you only have one school-age child. What I want to know is when that school-age child stopped going to school from 13.
It would have been May.
And that would be the same month that you put the house on the market for sale.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, you say you moved 100 miles away. Was that for business, pleasure?
Family,
Was that
to be
safer?
closer to family.
And did you purchase another residence or rent?
I purchased.
And what was the close date of that purchase?
I believe it was...
Before or after you closed on this house?
It was after. I believe July 7th was the date we closed for our current home.
But you had seen that house before?
Yes.
On what date Between and July, when you moved into that house, where did you live?
My in-laws' house.
Were you at your in-laws' house prior to June 29th?
My family was. I was there cleaning up the house, getting ready to leave. My final day, I got a text message of my final day at the house with the date.
What was your final date at the house? Your final date. Then I'm going to find out when your family's final date was.
So that would have been June 28th was my final day in the house.
Okay. And when was your family, your wife and 2 children, when was their final day in the house?
That would be Friday, June 26th.
Did your wife and 2 children drive to your in-laws?
Yes, ma'am.
So the family has 2 cars?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that right?
Yes.
So it is your testimony, and could be easily verified by both your in-laws and your wife, that your wife and 2 children lived in the house continuously from the time you purchased the house in 2017 until June 26th of 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
And that your 8-year-old daughter attended school there until the end of the school year in May of 2020.
Yes, ma'am.
All I can verify on the phone, so you wouldn't want to be embarrassed, right?
No, ma'am.
Your family...
Right away. That's correct, Your Honor. Can I explain the moving in process? It was a bit different. We had signed paperwork believing that the Combs were going to be living at the house 3 days after us getting the keys. After owning the house, the Combs were going to be living at the house for 3 days. We ended up making
They
plans.
asked for 3... Listen to me carefully.
Absolutely.
They asked for 3 days after the closing to get out.
That's correct, where they were going to pay rent.
So after either 29th or... Just a second. They asked for 3 days.
Yes.
Through their lawyer. I assume they had a lawyer?
Through their real estate agent, yes. Those were the terms that we understood.
Did they do that in writing or verbally by their agent?
It was in writing once during the start of the process, and then verbally going forward. We continued to keep talking about it until we got the keys.
I only want to see the written.
Understood.
Mr. Vasili, when you say you talked, did you talk to the defendant or did you talk to the real estate agent?
My real estate agent.
You can't tell me what that real estate agent said. That's hearsay. So then the only thing that I will look at is a writing, if you have a writing from the defendant or anyone acting on the defendant's behalf. That would be a real estate agent. Asking you, do you have that?
I believe that I do.
Something in writing?
Yes.
Well, then let's take a look at it.
We have our mediation, which has it, but let me see.
What mediation? Just a second.
Yeah, absolutely. We ended up going through mediation before going through the court process.
What mediation?
Mediation through a company called RERM. That's what I know it as. It was a real estate. They were trying to get us so we didn't have to go to court, essentially, where we exchanged messages between one another. And in that I outlined
Just 1 second. Did that mediation have a negative result?
Yes, it did. The Combs did not reply during...
Don't just answer my question.
Okay.
Is that the reason why you filed this case?
Yes.
Because the mediation did not have... Okay.
We did not
get
help.
So now all I want to see is that help is not the question. So when you buy a house, you usually have a house inspected, and you're bound by that inspection, and anything that you find later, unless there is intentional fraud...
We believe that there was intentional fraud.
Listen to me.
Yes,
I
Your Honor.
don't care what you believe.
Okay.
I read your complaint.
Sure.
And your complaint alleges, just pay attention before you respond, family could have lived in that house in the condition that it was. That's what you allege in here. There is no way. Well, you see, I've just asked a series of questions of the defendant. And the series of questions were, and they can be probably verified by a quick call to his in-laws who have absolutely no knowledge of what we're talking about today, when his wife came, when their daughter came with their 2 children. And if his wife and 2 children arrived at her family's house on June 26th from their house, and your allegation is no person could have lived in the house because of the condition of the plumbing, that would not be true. Do you understand that?
I understand that.
I'm just asking you if you understand
I understand.
it. Fine.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
If you had an incomplete inspection report, you had the right to request a more complete inspection report. Do you understand?
No, I don't, because I had to pay more for that.
Well, then that's your problem.
Joshua Vasily claims Nathaniel Combs sold him a house without disclosing its plumbing problems.
Now, sometimes, you have certain, and what you're hoping for is that it passes an inspection unless they purposefully misrepresented it to you in a written document, and then you can produce witnesses. So
I believe that did happen.
If it did happen, I'm more than prepared to look at it, sir. But certainly the part of your statement is that no one could have lived there
under
is
normal
inaccurate.
circumstances. No,
I don't
under
care
normal circumstances.
I don't care. No.
Okay.
When you have a family of 4 living in an 1,800 square foot house that uses the plumbing, and what you're saying is that the plumbing backed up, what I'm telling you is
the cause of the plumbing. Your Honor, I'm so sorry. Your Honor, the cause of the issue was running a washer. Running a washer 3 days after owning the house created a load on the system, and I have a witness, which was my plumber, who is a professional, who will tell you what the cause of the issue was. After the issue began,
Listen, I'm prepared to listen to your witness. I'm telling you.
Yes.
Did you have an inspection of the house before you purchase it?
I did, and they did not inspect the problem.
Of course. Just a second.
Yes.
That would be your problem.
Okay.
That would be your problem.
But it said they didn't test the washer, which caused the issue. The washer and dryer was not tested beyond the scope of the inspection as per the standards and practice set forth by the California Real Estate Inspection Association. I think that under any circumstance, that if somebody was living at this property and did not want to deceive someone, they would say that they had issues with the plumbing, the issues that we had immediately when buying the house. We ran a washer, which put 230 gallons worth of water in our system, blew it back, and there was no way to remove that water until I think that if we waited and it finally left the system, or a professional removed the issue. What ended up happening was...
No, listen to me.
Absolutely.
Sir, your washer backed up the first time you used it 3 days after you moved in.
Yes, that's correct.
I mean, that's what you're telling me.
Not exactly.
And I'm telling you that's not his...
It is his problem. And my witness can verify that.
I'm more than happy to hear your witness.
Okay.
I heard you. I understand the problem. Now I have to see whether...
Well, I don't think that I did explain that...
Mr. Vasily.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Vasily.
Yes, Your Honor.
What I'm telling you is you had the right to inspect the property.
Which I did.
This is a statement. It's not a question.
Okay.
You had the right to inspect the property. If you had an incomplete inspection report, you had the right to request a more complete inspection report. Do you understand? If you...
No, I don't, because I had to pay more for that.
Well, then that's your problem.
Well, I don't think so, because I agreed to a house.
You just keep hurting yourself by, volunteering information.
Well, not exactly, no. I agreed to the normal inspection.
Yes,
this is not normal.
Mr. Vasily, because you insist upon speaking, you just hurt your own case.
How so?
If I buy a house, I'm going to answer you, and you can be as wide-eyed as you like.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
So it was my fault that I didn't purchase a deeper inspection? It was my fault that I didn't inspect the washer line?
Yes.
Okay. It was... Okay.
Yes, and yes.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Joshua Vasily is accusing Nathaniel Combs of defrauding him on the sale of a house.
Now, when I buy homes, I can have a cursory inspection.
How many times have you bought in a house?
How many times have I bought a house? Probably 30.
Okay, this is my first time?
Probably. Judge, that's not his fault.
I understand that, but I also understand that I was going to be buying a house that could be lived in, that under normal circumstances you can use.
Mr. Vasily, Vasily, you just keep talking. You keep saying you understand. You don't understand.
Okay.
This is your first house. I get that.
Okay.
Next time you buy a house, don't answer me. Just listen. God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Just listen to what I'm saying to you. Maybe if you listen, you'll learn something. When you buy a house, you have the right to have an inspection of many things. And if you had the right to spend more money, which is what you told me, and get a more in-depth inspection, and you chose not to do that.
I believe that I did not have to.
Just a second. I don't care what you believe.
Okay.
I don't care. It's irrelevant to the law what you believe, Mr. Vasily.
Okay.
It's irrelevant what you believe. What I'm telling you is the law.
So it was my fault that I didn't purchase. It was my fault that I didn't inspect the washer line. It was my fault that I didn't inspect where the.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. It was okay.
Yes. 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 And yes.
Understood.
It's your fault. It's your fault when you have a car and you choose not to have collision insurance when you could have had collision insurance,
but
and you have an accident. Ears, mouth.
Sure. Absolutely.
Ears, mouth. Absolutely and understood. Not only absolutely, but absolutely and understood.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. Closed captioning sponsored by. Are you the victim of a scam? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Okay, now, what I'm telling you, sir, is I feel sorry for you that you and your family had a problem when you moved into the house, and it was your first house, and you had to spend more money to have it fixed.
$6,500.
Buying a house, that's too bad. What I'm telling you is I feel sorry for you that you have to spend that extra money when the washing machine backed up. I feel sorry for you, but ears, mouth. You could establish to me that because one of the things you said was it was a flagrant fraud because there was no family that could have lived in that house
under normal conditions without running the washer.
Okay. Okay, your case is dismissed. We're done here. It's impossible to deal with him. You fixed the plumbing. I hope you and your family are happy. We're done. Thank you.
Your Honor, can I understand what I did wrong?
I just tried to tell you, but you refused to listen.
I don't understand.
And if you refuse to listen, let me tell you what. Then we'll provide you with a tape when you go outside so you can listen to what I said as many times as you like. Right now, or we're done. And what part of we're done don't we understand?
This case is concluded. Parties are excused.
And on the next Judge Judy, after a death in the family, a tug of war.
Your mother signed a document that you should have the car. What your sister did was pull a fast one.
Next Judge Judy.
I think that I need to be heard a little bit more.
I thought it was phenomenal.
A general inspection didn't cover the problems that we ended up having.